This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
What's going on, freaks? What's going on? Hey, wow. Right off the bat, scouting, dude, thanks. Well, there you go. Thank you, Scouting Dude. Man, he is the super freak on the screen and already put us up to 20%. Pretty good. Thank you. Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, of course I'm going to check in on you from time to time. You know, you're one of the freaks when you don't show up. You wonder. Let's see. Yeah, alright. So I'm going to continue to do some stuff on the different locations in the Portland possible serial killer situation. I think there's only 4 that are, I mean, they all 6 could be related, but it's just, I think 4 of them seem more related. So I'll be doing that, I don't know, probably this coming week. More of it. I won't be interviewing homeless people, though, I can tell you that. Now, the homeless people probably have the answers. You know, somebody does, maybe. Like, oh, this guy was coming around, but I'm just not going to be seeking out homeless people in Portland with the meth and overdose shit that's going on. You know, it's like, you can forget it. With fentanyl. Yeah, I'm going to do some more of those. I still have, let's see, we've been to 4 of the 6 places. So I've still got 2 to go. It's really just kind of to get a feel for, does this feel similar or not? You know? Yeah, hit that like button. You know, right when you come in, hit the like button. And maybe share the videos or shows. Tonight we're going to be talking about Cheryl Coker. Cheryl Coker is one of the early cases that we covered on here. Now that I look back, it was October 5th, I think, was my first show in 2018 on this case. I think it might even be before Molly Tibbetts, I think. Although Molly Tibbetts might have been like in the summer. I don't even remember exactly when that was. Yeah, I think just looking at the locations, it looks like, down sort of side roads and a body dumped in a place where people aren't likely to find it right away. So all 3, well, the one in, let's see, I think it Speaks in Ridgefield, Washington, and Yeah, I don't have their names memorized right this second, so hold on. Let me... Yeah, Speaks, and then, yeah, Perry. Those two, you know, one was in a barn and the other was in a culvert, but, you know, just sort of the feel of it's similar, just down a side road. You know, Speaks is a little weird because the road that it's just right off of is a pretty traveled road. I mean, trucks go by there all the time, but that little piece of property was abandoned. So I don't know if the person was just driving around and said, "Ooh, here's a good place," or they knew about that. Don't know. You know, maybe there's a serial killer that scouts out places to dump bodies first, then kills, then dumps. I mean, I don't know. Thanks, Teresa Murray. Oh, well, there's Chloe now. They're outside doing yard work. Right, Blue? Yeah. Okay, so you guys,
basic generous basic generous basic generous.
Hey, Caligal3, have you checked out any of the latest Arius videos, shows? I know you were liking those for a while, but then you probably got busy. And boom, another cat eye. Don't want to miss the sound, so I'll stay here. It's always right when you least expect it. You're doing something else, and then bang! There you go. Well, thank you. All right, here we go. And I went back and did it sort of the way I do a lot of these other ones, using newspapers.com, going back in time. All the links are in the description. We're just going to go from the very beginning of when it was first reported and so forth. And I've got all the other stuff, the surveillance footage. Got a couple different variations on it. And here we go. All right. So she went missing on October 2nd. So let me check something out really quick. Hold on. We were already covering it before that, though. So hold on. I just have to check something. Might take a minute. I gotta click through a bunch of crap. But it's a crazy one, I'm telling you. A second. Okay. Yeah, so I think early on it wasn't covered that much in the news, like the first few days or so. But anyways, I start off on newspapers.com, where, you know, or this isn't newspapers.com, it's WHIO-TV, but it kicks into newspapers.com later. So these are the original articles here that came out. And, you know, so she went missing, and then there was a few articles about it. Then surveillance footage was developed because her vehicle was found in a Kroger parking lot. So I'll just show you. She lived right here in this house, right there. And the car was found in this Kroger's parking lot over here. Almost exactly where I have that pin right there. All right. So that's all people knew, and then surveillance footage emerged at some point where it says, the Riverside Police Department continues to investigate the disappearance of Cheryl Coker, last seen the morning of October 2nd. Surveillance video from a business that showed Coker's vehicle in a Riverside shopping center the day she was last seen has been released to this news organization. In the video, you see Coker's vehicle drive down Spinning Run Road and turn into the parking lot. So let's go to that. I think it's probably this one was a good one. Yeah, so there you go. In this video right here, you just see her video. It's kind of dark, but you can see her vehicle right here, and then it turns into this larger parking lot. So what you're looking at right there is it's like this. So that's the building you see in the background. This one right here with the long, and then see the green roof building there. That's right over here. So in that footage, you see the car driving like this, and then turn, and then it drives around, and then it parks. I think there's even more footage, so watch this. And so then these are different various cameras. This is one of the ones that's on the far end of the sort of shopping mall, or strip mall, and then here it comes in right there, and then her vehicle parks here. But unfortunately, this camera and another one were motion activated, and the person didn't get out in time to keep recording it on the on a motion that another individual caused. So likely there was probably somebody that just walked by just before this, or it picked up even the motion of the car coming in. But then there was not enough motion, so even when a person gets out of that car, it's not going to keep recording it. All right. So it said, in the video, you see Coker's vehicle drive down Spinning Road and turn into the parking lot. And then again, we go back to here. And this is Spinning Road. So I'm just verifying that we're seeing everything correctly. Comes in, and then you see it on that other camera, which is, amazingly, they have Street View here. And this Street View is, another amazing thing is July 2018. So this Street View is only 3 months prior to her going missing. So obviously, yeah, this camera here must, I don't know if that one was working though, because it doesn't seem like that. Let me go look at this.
Arrival to the
Yeah, so this is another one. Watch this
the
one.
shopping plaza was picked up by Joe Bromley's security cameras.
One camera was set to record constantly. One camera, which was actually Clancy's camera, was set to only motion record. So when the car pulled in, there's a few seconds where they don't get out of the car and there's no movement on the screen, the recorder shut off.
In this surveillance video, Coker's car can be seen driving down Spinning Road before entering the back of the parking lot and pulling into a parking space and stopping. But because there wasn't enough motion on the screen, the motion-activated cameras don't pick up who left the car.
The person must have not have got out of the car and went right or left. I think they would have went the other direction. It just wasn't enough movement to
Yeah. So Clancy's, yeah, right here, Clancy had a camera. But man, this one must not have been working that day then, because that one is phenomenal. I mean, look where this one is. That one's almost looking right at the car. Man, if that one just happened to not be working that day, what a nightmare that is, because that would have absolutely just nailed it. And then I think Clancy's is underneath this. That's why when you look at the video here,
Coker's arrival to the
see how there's this
on the screen,
like an awning over the top of it. So that means it's out of the view of a person standing out here, but it's there filming out And let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these little signs. And so then I guess you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that means the camera is likely right up in here, picking up that one, this one, this one, this one, this one, filming out. And the car probably parked right next to that red vehicle on the other side over there. All right. So that's where Cheryl Coker's vehicle was found. Riverside Police and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation on Tuesday executed a search warrant at the home owned by Cheryl Coker, 46, reported missing in a case police are calling suspicious. Riverside Police, in a statement, said investigators responded to the home on Christie Avenue sometime Tuesday as part of their ongoing investigation. Coker was last seen at about 7:30 a.m. October 2nd after dropping off her daughter at a Riverside school. So this is October 2nd, 2018. The woman is believed to have returned home afterward, according to a statement from police department. Police are considering Coker's disappearance suspicious. The search of the home was not because of suspicion of foul play at the residence, according to the department statement. The search was completed per standard protocol because Cheryl Coker is believed to have been home after dropping her daughter off at school, according to... I mean, doesn't this sound exactly like Madeline Kingsbury's case? No suspect has been identified yet in the case. The department's statement continued, and everyone has been cooperative. According to court records, Coker filed for divorce. I mean, look how similar this is. According to court records, Coker filed for divorce from husband William Coker on September 21st. It's not clear whether the filing has anything to do with their disappearance. Cheryl Coker had missed at least 3 days of work, which her family said is out of character, according to police department. As far as anyone knows, Coker was last seen driving a 2016 Toyota Highlander. The vehicle was found Wednesday evening, locked in a parking lot near Bucart and Spinning Rose. Her driver's license, purse, credit cards, and cell phones were in it. So inside the vehicle, see, isn't this crazy? It's just like the other case, except these items were inside the house, because that's where this guy just thought a little differently here. So Wednesday evening, locked in a parking lot near Buckhart and Spinning Road, her driver's license, purse, credit cards, and cell phone were in it, according to the police department. She reportedly has not spoken to anyone since she was last seen. All right. Let me see, I have one here of a... What's this one?
Investigating a case of this nature is...
No, that's not what I'm doing. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find the one that has...
Mystery. Police say 46-year-old Cheryl Coker was second, dropping her daughter off at school, and she has not been heard from. Police say 46-year-old Cheryl Coker was last seen October.
That's weird. It's not opening up with my regular video player. Let me try VLC.
Mystery. Police say 46-year-old Cheryl Coker was last seen October 2nd, dropping her daughter off at school, and she has not been heard from since. Only on 2 News reporter Kristen Eskow spoke tonight with Coker's daughter.
Yeah,
that brought her to this parking lot on Burkhart Road.
So this has, this is on, I think, what was the channel? Hold on. Yeah, well, it's 2 in Dayton, Ohio, channel 2.
Daughter.
Only on 2, I guess.
Mark, Cheryl Coker's daughter tells me she used the Find My iPhone app to try to track down her mother's cell phone. That brought her to this parking lot on Burkhart Road, where she found her mother's car.
So the daughter is the one who found her mother using Find My phone.
With that cell phone and her purse locked inside. She says she found that discovery especially disturbing since her mom doesn't frequent any of the businesses on this side of the strip mall.
She's always been there for both me and my sister. It's just hard not having her.
After a week with few answers, Marissa Coker says it's hard to think about the possibilities of what could have happened to her mother, 46-year-old Cheryl Coker. Police say Coker was last seen the morning of October 2nd, dropping her other daughter off at school. Marissa says she last saw her mom the night before she went missing.
I was over there for about 3 hours. We were having a good time listening to music and everything.
Till the night before she went missing.
Surveillance video shows her mother's car driving around this shopping center on Burkhart Road the day she was last seen, before parking near Clancy's Tavern. Motion-activated cameras turn off before anyone gets out of the vehicle. According to public records, Cheryl Coker had filed for divorce 11 days earlier. But her daughter tells me despite that, the 46-year-old crash technician wouldn't just run off or cut off contact with her family.
She wouldn't just ditch work too. She loved work and she loved being with family and friends and stuff like that. So with none of us hearing anything, it's very concerning.
Coker tells me her family is grateful for the support they've received from the community for helping raise awareness about her mother's disappearance. She says she's hopeful the search ends with a positive outcome.
It's very hard, and especially being after a week, not knowing anything, not hearing anything. It's very hard to keep those good spirits and stuff, even though you try so hard to do that.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me go back to the newspapers. All right. So then on the 11th, here. So far, we're just kind of basic stuff going on here. Daughter of missing Riverside woman remains hopeful. Family members of missing Riverside woman. I think this is where that came from. So basically, I think this is exactly what we just saw. Surveillance video shows her mother's car driving around the shopping center on Burkhart Road. According to public records, Cheryl Coker had filed for divorce 11 days earlier, but her daughter said despite that she believes the 46-year-old crash technician wouldn't just run off or cut off contact with her family. When was this written? Oh man, I wish I knew the date of this. But we'll definitely go over that later. Alright, so now we're just going to go into the newspapers here. Now, Riverside Police Department investigators are still seeking the public's help to locate a woman who went missing on October 2nd near Kroger at the intersection of Spinning Road and Burkhart Road. Cheryl Coker, 46, was last seen 3 weeks ago when she dropped her daughter off at school, according to Riverside Police. October 3rd, her SUV was found in the Kroger parking lot by her daughter. The vehicle was locked with her driver's license, purse, credit cards, and cell phone all inside. There is no evidence or anything to support that there was some type of abduction or kidnapping or anything like that. Yeah, I think her vehicle was taken right from her home with those items in it, with the license, purse, credit card, cell phone, and just left there. And she was never in that vehicle as far as her body being removed or dumped or anything like that. There's no evidence or anything. Okay, so I said that. The department has worked around the clock to investigate leads and tips, according to Abney. They're also conducting search warrants to uncover clues into her disappearance. We follow up on every single one of them, Abney said. We are all still aggressively investigating this case and will continue to do so until we get some answers. Coker filed for divorce from her husband on September 21st. Police have said that he is not considered a suspect at that time. Yeah. Police have reviewed surveillance video from a local business that showed Coker's vehicle in Riverside Shopping Center the last day she was seen. The video showed her vehicle drive down Spinner Road and turn into the parking lot. It is time-stamped about 3 hours after Coker's family said they last seen her. Yeah, so that means the family member would be the daughter who was dropped off at the school. The video cut out, and maybe even the husband at the time. The video cut out before police could determine who was driving the vehicle at that time. Anyone who has information regarding the whereabouts of Coker is to call numbers, but it doesn't matter now. They have found her remains at some point, so we'll get to that later. Yeah, we know, TLC. Do you mind if I just go through it, TLC? These people haven't gone over this before. We know that stuff. All right, thanks. Wow. You got one every show you do. You got one of these people. All right, here we go. Search warrant. We've been covering this case since the beginning, every single time, all right? So just realize that. You don't need to come in and be the expert. You know, we already know this. We're just going over the case for the people who have never heard of it. There, that's what I'm talking about. So when you have people jumping in ahead of time, it ruins it for the rest of them. All right. So search warrant suggests kidnapping in Riverside case of missing woman. Riverside police believe probable cause for felony kidnapping exists in the case of missing woman Cheryl Coker, according to an October 11th search warrant of her home. So they already have that, huh? 11 search warrant of her home obtained by News Center 7 and Dayton Daily News edition. Additionally, Riverside police confirmed Wednesday that a second piece of video surfaced in the case and is being considered evidence in the Coker's disappearance. So maybe that's the other one that we're going to be seeing. But officials would not discuss what the video showed nor release a copy to reporters. Investigators sought a lengthy list of items from Coker's residence. The warrant shows including furniture, covers, body fluids, computers, cell phones, weapons, tools, and other items used to conceal or dispose of a body, and any and all material, electrical stimuli, chemical, topicals, ingestible or inhalant that could render a human unresponsive or unconscious. What detectives found, if anything, and whether police still thought probable cause for kidnapping exists is unclear. Coker, 46, was last seen October 2nd dropping off her daughter at school, according to Riverside police. Her SUV was found October 3rd in a parking lot, locked with her driver's license, purse, credit cards, and cell phone inside. The search warrant affidavit, unknown to the public until it was reported Wednesday on DaytonDailyNews.com, referenced a text message exchange between Coker and her co-workers about her pending divorce from her husband, William Coker. "I will be in tomorrow if I'm not dead," she said. A portion of the text message to her co-workers from September 24th read, according to the affidavit. The messages referenced Cheryl Coker's husband reportedly texting her after being served with the divorce papers, saying, "Thanks for putting the nail in my coffin." Cheryl Coker filed for divorce from her husband September 21st. Police have not identified him or anyone else as a suspect. A reporter who went to the Coker's residence could not locate William Coker. Relatives of Cheryl Coker were not available for comment. The court documents also showed that William Coker told police $4,000 went missing from a shoebox the couple had hidden in their closet, noting that the husband... Yeah, well, see, that's just like Jodi Arias, right? You know, you steal your own money and say, "Oh, look, I'm losing 20. Well, you just take the 4,000, put it somewhere, and you didn't lose anything. Already, police have surveillance video showing Coker's vehicle in Riverside Shopping Center the day she went missing. So I think I might have that. See if we can read it. Let me see. So that's not that page. Okay, the residence located at 5146 Christie Avenue, Montgomery County, Ohio, 45. This is from the disappearance of Cheryl Coker. It's a discussion. Let's see. With a screen door with the white trim. The front of the residence has two separate windows. Okay, we got that. I just want to get to the narrative part. What page is that? Alright. The vehicle, detectives Abney located backpack in the front passenger seat. The backpack contained several items: Cheryl's purse, miscellaneous medication, Cheryl's Apple iPhone, and other miscellaneous items. These items were taken as evidence, and they were later transported back to the Riverside Police Department. Due to the exigent circumstances of the investigation, a preliminary search was done on Cheryl's iPhone in hopes of gathering information that would lead to her whereabouts. Nothing was discovered in Cheryl's phone that have any indication where she went or who she was with. See, that's another sign right there, right? There's no communications that she's had with somebody else that would render her to go missing. You know, like, hey, I'll meet you over here. I'll meet you over there. Nothing. Cheryl's vehicle was towed by Sandy's with a hold placed on the SUV. This was done for further investigation, and the Toyota Highlander was EV taped by Officer Todd before it was removed. While on the scene in the lot of Clancy Tavern, Detective Abney spoke at length to members of Cheryl's family. They remained very concerned about Cheryl's disappearance. They reiterated several times how Cheryl has never done anything like this before. The family also spoke at length about Cheryl and William Coker's pending divorce. Detective Abney was advised by members of the family that William does not seem overly concerned with Cheryl being missing. However, no statements were made by the family that implied foul play on the part of William. William arrived on scene at approximately 9 p.m. He agreed to speak with Detective Abney in private. Okay, so William spoke candidly about his marriage and how he and Cheryl have an open marriage. William stated Cheryl had cheated on him several times throughout their 19 years marriage. He added that she approached him a long time ago, and Cheryl suggested that they attend swinger parties. And this stuff is true, that they did that. William went into detail about how this was an on-again, off-again behavior. He further explained that it was not uncommon for him and Cheryl to go to a bar and for Cheryl to leave with another man. William spoke, I don't know if that part's true. William spoke about Cheryl leaving multiple lovers. I don't know if that's true, this part's true or not. In fact, I think the family, it's more like it was Bill's idea to do the swinging. I don't know. He also spoke about how Cheryl insisted he enter into a relationship with a female coworker. Right, of course. Yeah, that's what every wife does. Hey, get into a relationship with your coworker. No, I think it said end, right? I think that's what it says. I think I cut off here. William admitted to being in a relationship with a female coworker. Oh, he admitted to being one. Okay. Coworker at Costco in Centerville. Before ending this conversation, William agreed probably to be formally interviewed at the Riverside Police Department at a later time. It should be noted, while speaking to William, Detective Abney noticed that William had 2 large scabs on both of his elbows. It appeared as if, I guess I can zoom out, I forgot. It appears that as if the injuries were in the process of healing. However, Detective Abney was not sure how old the injuries were. On Thursday, October 4th, 2018, at approximately noon, Detective Stewart and Detective Abney met with several neighbors of the Cokers. They first spoke with David Stanton and his wife, John Stanton, at 5162 Christie Avenue. So where's that? Yeah. And by the way, everybody, at the top of the screen on the upper left, there's the stream goal for the freaks to try to hit that for the night, and you can become the super freak in the upper right-hand corner. Every night on the shows and during the day, I try to raise funds to help support the channel, and I give a tremendous amount of money to charity each month, usually over 50% of the net revenue, and that just means after I pay the taxes. And we've done a lot of great things. We have 10 DNA cases that we funded. I'd like to do 10 more. Okay? So if you're somebody out there that can afford to help support the channel, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Alright, let's see. I want to get that music playing in the background again. Drive me nuts. Thanks, Cindy. Scout and Dude again. Come on, man. Hey, thank you, though. I mean, appreciate it. 60, though. Never seen that one. I think that's a new one. (5162) Christie Avenue. Okay, that's right next door. That's the very next door neighbor. Thank you, Scout and Dude and Music Maker.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
Thanks for all you do, great.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Heck, what are we at now? 71.9%. Not bad. So this is where a neighbor, the neighbor that they just mentioned live. So let's see. I'm just doing this the same way I always do them. (5162) Christie Avenue. Neighbor. Hey, thanks. Your Gypsy. And this gets pretty, it gets way more crazy and interesting later on, I think. I mean, you'll see this. It's nuts, you guys. And how they haven't made an arrest, I have no idea. Okay, on Thursday, October 4, 2018. Well, I'll get to it in a second. Thanks, your Gypsy.
Oh, I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
Thank you, Kathy Chapin. Okay. Just opening up a different window here. Lost that control panel window. The Stanton described Cheryl as very friendly, but William as standoffish. These are the neighbors' comments. They were aware of the pending divorce, and they told the detectives that Cheryl spoke to them about a week ago regarding the divorce. The Stantons said Cheryl was devastated about her marriage ending. They stated that they never heard yelling or arguing coming from the Coker's residence. Cheryl was last seen by the Stantons on Monday afternoon at around 3 o'clock. Was last seen by the Stantons on Monday afternoon around 3 o'clock. Yeah, right. They remember seeing her SUV sometime later, or sometime last week, but not since then. They spoke about how William hasn't been staying at the house until recently. I don't understand that 3 o'clock comment, but I don't know what day they're referring to. October 4th. Cheryl was last seen by the Stantons on Monday. Is that the first Monday? Yes. Hold on. What day of the week is October 2nd, 2018? Tuesday. Yeah, so Monday was the first. Okay. That makes sense then. They remember seeing her SUV sometime last week, but not since then. They spoke about how William hasn't been staying at the house until recently. Detective Stewart and Detective Abney then checked 5191 Christie Avenue, but no one was home. Next, what's 5191? That's probably across the street. Yeah, right there. "5091, nobody home." Next, the detectives met with Chris Abernathy at 5130 Christie Avenue. Chris had little information to give, but stated his wife, Jessica Abernathy, may have details. He called Jessica and put her on speakerphone. The details are as follows. Jessica stated that William and... William and his daughter were in Florida for the past few days. She last talked with Cheryl on Monday, so that's the same day. Remember, that was 3 o'clock for the other neighbor. Now this is 4:30. At about 4:30, Jessica said Cheryl had been very upset about her divorce because it's 19 years down the drain. Jessica advised Cheryl was not excited for William to come home, but she was glad for her daughter that her daughter was coming home that night. Okay, so just think about it like this. William is out of town with their young daughter, the same daughter that Cheryl takes to school on the 2nd, on Tuesday. So they're in Florida, but William is there with, I think I'll just tell you now, he's there with another woman who was part of the swinger thing. So the thing is I guess they agreed to do swinging, but nobody could love somebody else. But then Bill he wanted to be with this other woman, okay? And so he went on a trip with the daughter to Florida. And then the day after they come back, she goes missing forever. You don't find that to be a little strange? Aaron responded by saying how devastated William would be if she were no longer in the picture. Man, what page is this one? It doesn't seem like they're in order. Let me. I think that is in order. Let's try that again. On October 3rd, approximately, after speaking with Canyon. So this one looks like almost the first one. Let me go back to that one, though. I think this one here. And I'll go back to the one before and see if it links into that. Oh, yeah, I think I skipped one. Yeah, there we go. I skipped one. Okay. Stanton described Cheryl as very friendly. Okay. Then we're at the... Jessica advised Cheryl was not excited for William to come home, but she was glad for her daughter was coming home that night. Jessica stated Cheryl never mentioned abuse or being afraid of William. Jessica seemed very aware of Cheryl and William's marital problems. Detectives Sewers and Detective Abney then checked 800 Utopia Drive, but no one answered the door. After that, detectives were... let me just go back to that last one. So this was at 5130. That's probably the one just to the left. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Okay. So they talked to all these people. This one wasn't home here. This is probably the other neighbor, I would imagine. After that, detectives went to 795 Utopia Drive, where they met with Charles Funk. Charles stated he is aware Cheryl is missing. He had little information about Cheryl and William's marriage, but he did know they are in the process of a divorce. Before leaving the area, Detective Seward and Detective Abney encountered William Coker, as he was getting in his truck. William saw the detectives and stated he was about to call Detective Abney. William went on to say that he received screenshot text messages from his girlfriend, Erin Duffy, with whom he works with. William advised detectives that Erin sent screenshots of a text message conversation between her and Cheryl. So Cheryl Coker and William's new, girlfriend or whatever are communicating. This conversation took place on August 28, 2018. So this is August, September, so just like 5 weeks before she went missing. The text messages were sent to Cheryl, were sent by Cheryl, who asked Erin about being with William if she were to die or leave the picture. Okay. The text messages were sent by Cheryl. Oh, you know what I bet? Man, it was sent in August, though. What if he sent those and she just didn't know that? And then they were deleted from her phone. So she didn't know that she sent those. And it was all part of a setup. Man, I wouldn't doubt that at all, man. Because that doesn't sound like a conversation you're going to actually have. Well, let's take a look. Let's keep reading. That's what I said, Susan. Yeah. Anyway, hey, thanks, K-Me. All right, so let's see. Detectives Abney advised William to preserve these text messages and bring his phone to the Riverside Police Department when he is formally interviewed. William agreed to this. This conversation ended soon because William were nearly late for work at Costco in Centerville. Let's see. The details regarding William's interview at the police station will follow at a later time. It should be noted, while speaking to William on this date and time, Detectives Abney noticed one of William's hands was swollen around the knuckles. His left hand was swollen around the knuckles. However, Detectives Abney did not notice any scrapes or bruises on his hand, just swelling. Detectives Abney compared William's swollen left hand to his right hand, and there was an obvious difference. Did I miss something? Oh, yeah, thanks, Kami. After speaking with William, Detective Stewart and Detective Abney drove to Costco, which is located in Centerville. The purpose of this was to interview Erin Duffy, William's girlfriend. The details of this interview are as follows. So let me see this part. The text messages were sent by Cheryl, who asked Erin about being with William if she were to die or leave the picture. Huh. That's weird shit. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they're all like it's a conspiracy here. I mean, it even has a little bit of the Chris Watts vibe, even though I hate talking about that one. But like, he liked this other life with this other woman, so now he needs to get rid of his wife. But this is way before that case, right? Erin said she's known. So this is Erin, the girlfriend. The concubine. Erin said she's known William for 4 years, and they began a relationship this past June. Erin stated she was approached by Cheryl Coker this past May, and Cheryl wanted her to start dating William. Is that real? Is that a real thing? Who knows, man? Because if she's part of it, then she's saying the same stuff that she's supposed to say. Erin stated she was approached by Cheryl Coker this May, and Cheryl wanted her to start dating William. I don't know about that. Erin, and is that something that's believable when she was devastated that he wanted a divorce? Erin went into detail about how Cheryl and William are in an open marriage, and Cheryl wanted William to find someone to occupy his time because he was lonely. Erin advised Cheryl has multiple lovers, and Cheryl wanted someone for William. So I don't believe that. I think that I just don't believe that at all. Now, I don't know what the investigation has uncovered, Erin said she would go out with William and Cheryl, and they mainly hung out at Julia's nightclub in Centerville. I wonder if that's still there. Okay, this is the Costco where Erin works. Yeah, that's still there. It's in a strip mall, obviously. Oh, I've got that in there already. Yeah, right there. Julia's nightclub. So I guess they would hang out there. It's kind of far away from home, you know? Well, you guys finding this interesting so far? Erin stated Cheryl would leave the bar with a random stranger every time they went out. God, do you actually believe that, anybody? That Cheryl Coker, every time she went to a bar, left with a random stranger? Erin advised William was used to this, and eventually, and I think we know what they are, is their alibis for each other, making this a difficult case for cops, you know, investigators. Erin advised William was used to this, and eventually she began sleeping with William. Hey, well, she's going out. I mean, give me a break. She went into detail about a time in which she and William went to go back to William's house with Cheryl and someone Cheryl met at the bar. Erin spoke about a time in which Cheryl and her partner had sex in the backyard while she, Erin, and William were inside William's house. Erin describes this as bizarre. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I don't know how you prove something like that unless they get a hold of these people that were with her. Eric told detectives that William said Cheryl had always cheated on him, so he eventually just accepted it. She said the plan was for William and Cheryl to stay married at least until the youngest daughter graduated, then reevaluate everything after that. Erin spoke at length about how much William and Cheryl love each other, despite their untraditional relationship. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. Erin did not find out that Cheryl was missing until late Wednesday night when William told her. Erin did not find out that Cheryl was missing until late Wednesday night when William told her. Right, of course. Erin said William just assumed. I think it's possible that she knew it was going to happen. But yeah, maybe the call came in on Wednesday. But on their trip, could you see them planning this when they went to Florida with the daughter? Erin did not find out that Cheryl was missing until late Wednesday when William told her. And then Erin said William just assumed that Cheryl was with another man. See, now she's trying to make Cheryl sound like she's almost like a sex worker. Somewhere and didn't come home. Erin then went into detail about odd text messages she received from Cheryl on August 28th. Right, they're odd because Bill sent them to you. August 28, 2018. She gave Detective Abney consent to search her phone and take photos of these text messages. Detective Abney photographed a number of text messages between Cheryl and Erin, which began on the above-mentioned date. The conversation begins, they begin at 8:05 in the morning when Cheryl says she has a question. Cheryl asks Erin that if she were to die or if she wasn't in the picture. See, this seems like you're setting up a suicide alibi kind of situation. we've already got, well, she's depressed about the divorce coming up. And it sort of feels like you're setting up a situation where you're, hey, I might kill myself. Will you be a good mom to my kids and everything? Cheryl asked Aaron that if she were to die or if she wasn't in the picture, would she pursue a permanent relationship with William? Aaron responded by saying how devastated William would be if she were no longer in the picture. Cheryl also wrote that William suspects she was falling in love with a man named James. Man, I bet you I have a hard time believing any of this stuff is real up here. Although it is true that they were doing a swinger situation, all right? So you got to keep that in your mind where you completely discount something. It's possible, right? Just given that. Detective Abney asked Aaron if it's possible someone else other than Cheryl sent these messages. But pretended to be Cheryl. Well, there you go, see? Aaron stated she doubts it was William. But you didn't say no, right? Aaron states she doubts it was William because the tone of the text messages sounds like Cheryl. Well, okay, come on. Not William. She also spoke about how the text messages were spelled correctly and used proper punctuation. Aaron said William's messages are never like this. Aaron stated she and Cheryl never discussed these odd text messages after they were sent. Aaron spoke about how she and Cheryl are friends. She said Cheryl always welcomed her at their house and to make herself feel at home. God, I mean, if that's true, it just, I don't know, man. Aaron advised Cheryl Aaron advised Cheryl no longer wants her and William's house. She said they're still friends, but Cheryl changed after the divorce, and she and Aaron is no longer allowed over. Okay, Aaron advised Cheryl no longer wants her at William's house. Okay. So after she filed for divorce, now it's not okay? That's kind of strange. Maybe she was hoping that William would come back around to her once she filed for divorce. But she didn't want Aaron back over to interfere. Yeah, Aaron went on to say that Aaron went to Florida. Okay, let me go up there. Aaron advised Cheryl no longer wants Aaron, at William's house. She said they're still friends, but Cheryl changed after the divorce, and Aaron is no longer allowed over. When asked if William and Cheryl are known to fight or argue, Aaron stated not that she knows of. She did say William was blindsided by Cheryl filing for divorce because he never saw it coming, according to Aaron. Aaron went on to say that Aaron, went to Florida a few days ago with William and their daughter. She said this was a secret to a lot of people, but they all had a great time together. She added that their flight arrived back in Dayton on Monday at 9:30 p.m. So isn't it amazing that she goes missing forever, literally maybe 12 to 13 hours later after he gets back from the trip? Detective Abney brought up the text messages from Cheryl again, and Aaron couldn't remember if she told William about them or not. Really? You wouldn't tell William about those text messages? I don't think so. She said William's demeanor never changed, and it's normal for him to be unfazed by anything. Detective Abney asked Aaron about William and Cheryl, arguing about who gets to stay in the home and who gets to remain with the younger child. Aaron said William never mentioned them arguing about these things. He just assumed he would stay in the house because Cheryl wouldn't be able to afford it on her own. He just assumed he would stay in the house because Cheryl wouldn't be able to afford it on her own. Erin stated she will cooperate any way she can. She agreed to come in for a formal interview and gave her phone data and have her phone data extracted if needed. Detective Abney advised Erin that he will be contact with her at a later time, so probably be in contact. Detective Abney was contacted on Thursday, October 4th, 2018 by Joe Brumley, who is the owner of Computer Networks Associates, which is located beside the Clancy Tavern at 5520 Burkhardt Road. Mr. Brumley, that's the guy that we were watching earlier showing the video, installed and has access to surveillance cameras located outside of the Clancy Tavern. Mr. Brumley informed Detective Abney that he is in the process of downloading several hours of footage from the parking lot. He believes Cheryl Coker's vehicle arrived in the parking lot of Clancy Tavern on Tuesday, October 2nd, 2018 at 10:48. So let's just put that in there. Whoa! Thank you, CaliGal3. Yeah, well, I don't know if it's all them telling the story, though, so is any of the story verified? I don't know, man. Oh, you'll see in a minute here, CaliGal3. You probably change your mind.
No wonder he's still free. It's so convoluted.
Wow, Cadillac! Thank you. Holy moly! Just popped in to donate this evening. Grandkids have me on the run.
Just popped in to donate this evening.
Well, thank you.
Grandkids have me on the run.
Well, thank you anyways. That was very kind of you. Thank you. And thanks everybody. But you watch CaliGal3. You watch. Okay? Keep on watching. On Friday, October 5th, 2018, Detective Abney spoke to a man named Casey Audrett, who works with Cheryl Coker at KDL Associates in Centerville. Casey wanted detectives... Oh, okay, that's right. I was going to put 1048 over here. Hold on. So he sees the car pull in. Okay, this said 1052. So the car pulls in 10:48 a.m. Whoa, Jesus. The details of the surveillance footage will be included in a supplemental report, which will follow at a later time. On Friday, October 5th, 2018, Detective Abney spoke to a man named Casey Audrich, who works with Cheryl Coker at KDL Associates in Centerville. Casey wanted Detective Abney to know about an odd text message that Cheryl sent in a group text message on Monday, September 24, 2018. Casey stated Cheryl sent this group text message to coworkers about filing for divorce. Casey later sent Detective Abney this screenshot, which states the following. This is sent by Cheryl. I think he got served today because I just got this text from him. Thanks for putting the nail in my coffin. I'm going to be making $17.50 an hour if they put me in a clerk position. $16.50 if there's nothing available. Thanks. Not sure what that... Heather Davis wrote, wish I made $17.50. Cheryl responded, laugh my ass off. So I will be in tomorrow if I'm not dead. And then she laughed. This screenshot is now included in the picture folder of this incident report. On Saturday, October 6, 2018, at approximately 12 noon, Detective Abney called William Coker after he had left Detective Abney a voicemail message asking Detective Abney to call him. William stated he recently discovered $4,000 missing from his bedroom closet. Right.
Wait, it was somebody. It was a burglary, and they abducted her. She took the $4,000 and is on the run somewhere. William went on to say that he and Cheryl kept this money hidden in a shoebox inside the closet. He said he removed $250 of the money before leaving for Florida. William added, so you took some of it out? William added that on Friday, the day before, he went to put $200 back in the shoebox. He advised this is when he discovered all the money was missing. What a coincidence. Oh, that's unbelievable. William suspects Cheryl took the money before she disappeared. This missing person case remains an active investigation. Okay. All right, so that's the crazy, stuff behind the scenes going on there. So did we do this one already? Police help. Yeah, we did that. Yeah, this is November 1st. Search warrant suggests kidnapping in Riverside. Riverside police believe probable cause for felony kidnapping exists. I think we did this one, right? Then we go to A10 here. Let's see. Message reference Cheryl Coker's husband reportedly texting her after being served with divorce papers saying thanks for... Yeah, we did that one. All right, so then another one. No, that's the second page in there. All right. Then 11:3. Husband wants his wife to come home. I'm sure you do. The estranged husband of a missing Riverside woman said he has nothing to do with their disappearance and hopes she returns home soon, even as police, following what they said is standard procedure, named him in court documents as a person of interest. No one has been charged or named as a suspect in the disappearance of Cheryl Coker, 46, last seen October 2nd, dropping off her daughter at school. Her SUV was found October 3rd in a parking lot, locked with her driver's license, purse, credit cards, and cell phone inside. But in the exclusive interview with News Center 7, James Brown, William Coker said he has theories about his wife Cheryl Coker's disappearance, though he wouldn't elaborate because it would hurt my daughter. So he wants to say it's about the swinging and all that shit. I wish I knew, Coker said. Noting he and their daughter love her and miss her very much and just hope she comes home. In court documents unknown to the public until they were reported by Dayton Daily News and News Center 7, Riverside police sought a search warrant, that's what we were just looking at, to examine the couple's Christie Avenue's home, 2 vehicles, William Coker's iPhone, his cell phone records, and bank accounts, records for both Cokers. We had probable cause to believe that he was the last person to be in the house with her. Cheryl Coker filed for divorce from her husband of 19 years on September 21st through though the affidavit states they still live together. Police also sought to obtain from William Coker's employer several records, including interior and exterior surveillance video for certain days and times, information about work injuries, and the entirety of his personnel file. The affidavit attached to the search request sent to Coker's employer referenced scabs on William's elbow observed during an interview and swollen knuckles observed during another interview. Coker, according to the affidavit, said he had injured his left hand in a forklift injury at work, but did not report the injury. Ah, God. Really? Of course you didn't. Just like Jodi Arias never, it's the same shit here, The search warrant affidavit listed probable cause for kidnapping, but Abney said in an interview Thursday there isn't any evidence to support that kidnapping has taken place. Riverside police would not say what was found in result of the search warrants. Okay.
Got that one, and so then okay, we're gonna go on that one next, and so that's on the 29th. Okay. So there's two different things where people actually interviewed him. So this guy right here, he's interviewing William Coker.
I mean, whoever drove the car away from her had to come back to their own car, I would assume. I mean,
he's talking about the surveillance footage.
How about, they said the person was dressed in black pants, a black hoodie with the hood pulled up, and maybe some white gloves. Are those things you own?
no.
Is it tough to try? Do you feel like you're trying to prove a negative? In other words, you're trying, that you're in a spot where you're almost trying to prove that you didn't kill your wife? Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah.
What, I mean, you're trying to carry on, work, pay your bills, raise your daughter with all this hanging over your head and not knowing what happened to her. How do you do that?
It's not easy. I mean, I just try to think of what I need to do for her. That keeps driving me.
Do you have any idea what happened to Cheryl?
She was behaving in some pretty risky behavior right before she disappeared. I mean, and I haven't really been willing to put that out there because I didn't want to hear about it.
But now the finger's pointing at you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the police are saying you're the suspect, so, you need to try and convince people that you're not.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, have you thought about or have you hired a lawyer?
No, not yet, because I didn't do anything. I didn't felt that I needed one, but I guess I'm going to have to.
And that's, what would be, are you just going to go forward and keep working, keep doing what you do? Because again, if no one arrests you, that means, you have to keep living your life.
What am I supposed to do? I mean,
yeah. What? Well, I mean, the question.
Man, I was just thinking to myself, this guy sounds exactly like somebody else. I already said that, Cindy and Danielle. You know what he sounds like? He sounds like Don Wells. I was like, who does this guy sound exactly like? It's Don Wells, for God's sakes. Listen to this.
What? Well, I mean, the question that police would ask you, or our audience would ask you, did you have anything to do with Cheryl's death? Did you kill her?
No, I didn't. I did not.
God, he's like a clone.
And
holy crap!
I've never in my entire life heard anyone.
They might as well just put Don in this one. It's the same thing.
And right now, though, given that when you came back from Florida, the very next day was the day that she apparently was the last time anyone saw her. Is that correct?
Yes.
So did you get to see her in between the time you came back and the time that she took Michaela to school that day?
I seen her the night we came back.
Yeah, if he came back from Florida,
and then
yep.
She left to school the next day, and you went over to the house after that?
No, I was here.
You were
still living together.
Okay, so you were already there. So when they left, did you ever see Cheryl come back after dropping off?
No, but I got up to for a few minutes and she was in the shower, but I didn't see her.
And this would have been after she dropped Michaela off?
Yes.
Okay, so then you didn't see her at that point. Then did you go back to sleep?
Yeah.
And then When you woke back up, she was gone?
Yes.
And her car was obviously then gone as well?
Yes.
So who do you think that is on camera at the Kroger lot parking that car and then walking away?
I don't know. Someone she met because she was meeting people and
God, look,
probably wanted me to think that she was at work. You know, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Right. I appreciate you talking to us today, and going forward though, I mean, do you know, it looks like the police are focused on you, so does that mean to try and clear your name, are you going to have to hire a private investigator to try and come up with alternate theories, or, I mean, are you worried that they're focused only on you?
Hey, we're still trying to get to the stuff, Coogee. Do you mind if we got to get through this? Okay?
I mean,
I'm not there yet.
How it works is when no one knows what happened, it was the husband, right?
But you're saying when you got up that day, she was gone, her car was gone, and you never heard from her again or saw her again. All right. William, thank you so much for taking my call. And
all right, so we got that one, and then there's another one kind of similar to that. If I can find it.
Letitia, that morning, a man dressed all in black.
Yeah, okay. So then later on, this other footage came out, you guys. Here, watch this. It's crazy. Let me get rid of the wait, clear that. Right there. Here we go.
We were the first to report last Thursday that Riverside police have a suspect in Cheryl Coker's disappearance. Today, police telling News Center 7 for the first time that their suspect is indeed Cheryl's husband, William Bill Coker. Now to recap, the morning of October 2nd, Cheryl dropped off her daughter across the street here at Stebbins High School. About 7:25, she drove back home to Christie Avenue.
Is it Stebbins High School? Stebbins. I think I already have a pin on that. Yeah, right here. So Stebbins High School, and what'd you say that was? 7...
Across the street here at Stebbins High School. About 7:25, she drove back home to Christie Avenue. Getting there about 10 minutes later, she spent the next few minutes sharing posts on Facebook, and then at 7:45, all electronic activity stopped. Police have released to us first surveillance video we're going to show you right now from the morning of October.
So look at this, another camera. I think this is way further away, so hold on a second. I was trying to figure out this earlier. I was trying to figure out where that was taken. So they must have identified another camera in the same parking lot. And remember how they said they had other footage, but they weren't going to say what it was? I think that one was likely somewhere on, it's hard to say, but it looks like it's over here, but it's further back. It's way over here, so maybe there's like this part right here is maybe, that awning or something. It's hard to say, really. But using both of the surveillance footage images that I have, I can't lie. Some of these cars aren't in the other one. That's because this is way over there. In fact, can you guys see this little this thing right here with the 3 lines on it? I think I was able to look at that. Hold on a second. So if we go down to the parking lot here, there is, like, way back here. Yeah, so I think it's this thing here at an A, and that's probably the Kroger's roof, or it could even be this one that you're seeing right there. So it could be this pole, and then that means the camera's off in this direction. But there's Clancy again. God, that's so crazy. But maybe there's another one right there. So looks like there's something here, and that's the second one over. So I actually think that, because I see one, like, see how it's light back there, but I think that's similar to this one, but it's way over here, and that makes sense then, and that means that the camera is likely on Kroger's over here. So let's see what happens when we go over to Kroger's and see where that's located. And hey, there you go, look at that. Except I don't know what the white part is below it. It could just be, the fisheye lens is picking up part of that. I don't know though, it looks like it's jutting out. Is there another one on Kroger's? A little bit. Hey, actually that one looks pretty good, hold on. Yeah, so if you're right there, see, I think that, see that dark spot right there? Can you guys see that? And then how it's opened up over there? I'm almost positive that that's this tree with the opening up. Like if I zoom in over here, see how that's there, and then the open field. Now let's see how where these three lines. Now I can see the three bars on that. And look at that, it's almost exactly right. As a matter of fact, oh man, look, that's so cool. See how the spacing between these three is pretty even? But I'm not even here. And in fact, if I go back, I bet you a little bit, and God, it just needed to be like it just, yeah, if there was one in between that would be right in the middle, and then right next to the tree, which would be, or a little bit into it. See how the tree ends over here and there? So it's a couple feet into it over there. So I'm pretty sure that that camera there is the one that picked up what we're going to see here. I just can't say what this white area is here. I don't know what that is. There could have been something there on that date. I have no idea. Or a truck even. Maybe that's a big, long truck, kind of like how that's there, right? And it was parked right here to deliver some things. Don't know. But anyways, you'll see this now. Here we go. And if you're still out there, Cali Gal 3, here we go. This is where it gets kind of weird.
October 2nd, it shows Cheryl's Toyota Highlander driving into the Kroger parking lot.
See, they show the car parked, and the person wearing all black walks away.
At Spinning and Burkhart at about 10.
And then look at this. This is behind Cheryl Coker's residence.
52 that morning. A man dressed all in black with a hoodie pulled up walks north toward Burkhart, and at the
it's just insane. All right, let's see. Let me go back. Yeah, I think it's this one. This one's a good one. Yeah, so that's when the car pulls in, and then the person wearing all black takes off.
Surveillance video of her Toyota Highlander pull.
Okay. Now listen, just this whole
Surveillance
thing is
video
crazy.
of her
Watch
Toyota
this.
Highlander pulling into the parking lot. Then at 10:53
Oh, it
a.m.,
was.
a person dressed in all surveillance video.
Oh, I forgot this one. Look at that. That was a truck. Watch this one. Watch this.
Of her Toyota Highlander pulling into the parking lot.
That's amazing.
Then at 10.
Look at that. It's a big delivery truck right here. I forgot that this existed. Oh, that's so crazy.
10:53 a.m., a person dressed in
so
all
there it
black
is.
appears.
The person walks away from the vehicle toward Burkhart Road, and then who we highly suspect is the same man is seen walking in the neighborhood very close to their residence.
At 11:30.
See, don't you think that's crazy? I mean,
into the parking lot.
So at 10:52, there it is. I guess it says right there, 10:53 up on that.
Then at 10:53 a.m., a person
walking.
dressed in all black appears.
So it pulls in at 10:48. Let's put that in there. So it sat in the car for a few minutes.
Then at 10:50, surveillance video of her Toyota Highlander pulling into the parking lot. Then at 10:53 a.m., a person dressed in all black.
So they sat in the car for 5 minutes.
Black appears.
The person walks away from the vehicle toward Burkhart Road, and then who we highly suspect is the same man is seen walking in the neighborhood very close to their residence.
At 11.
So 11:13. So that would be 20 minutes later.
13 a.m.
All right, hold on. Let me, I'm going to get this in here. I think we have most of this in here, but so I have 10:52, but it's actually 10:53. 10:53, the man wearing all black takes off, and the green line represents what I think he did. He walks over here, and then I think he went all the way down like this, and then comes into the neighborhood right there, and now they're saying right here, okay, so I do have it there, but it's 11:13. We put that on there. 11:13 a.m. And guess where we're at now, everybody? Look where Cheryl Coker lives. She lives right here. So whoever it was that dropped a car off here wearing all black. So you got to look at it like this. The car leaves Cheryl Coker's house at, I think must have been like 10:44 or something like that. Drives this short distance, pulls into here at 10:48, goes right from her house to here. Then at 10:53, a person wearing all black gets out of the vehicle, and this is how I'm saying they went. I don't know if they cut through over here. I'm just going like this. Maybe didn't go down on the main street. Maybe walked out of the parking lot, cut across some of this stuff. I really don't know. Came around, walking around, and then right here at 11:13, a witness sees this person. And then listen to this.
A 911 caller reports a suspicious white male, also in black, walking near Utopia Place in Mundy Court, moving closer to the Coker residence.
There was a guy dressed in black hoodie on, and as he walked across in front of me, he hid his face, and he was...
So why would the person with a hoodie on really care to hide his face that much? If you weren't around in the area for very long, it's because you think that people know you because it's your neighborhood that you live in.
Coming up Spring Garden, he put both hands over his face in front of me. He hid his face, and he was coming up Spring Garden. He put both hands over his face, and he was walking towards Spinning Hill School.
A man...
Wow, so let's see where Spring Garden is. Yeah, it's right here, Spring Garden. So look at this. He's seen here and then takes a left on to Spring Garden, everybody. I mean, look how crazy this is. Now he's on to Spring Garden going this direction, all right?
Matching that description.
Now look at this crap here. Look at this.
He put both hands over his face, and he was walking towards Spinning Hill School.
A man matching that description was then picked up on surveillance video from Spring Hill Middle School, while police can't make out his face.
The person in this video obviously was very familiar with the Coker residence based on the route that person took and going.
Okay, you want to see where that is, everybody? So here it is. They come down Spring Garden, and then he walked back behind the school here. And actually, at the time, there was 3 different shots. So there's a camera right here on. You can actually see him here. It's crazy. There's a camera right there on the building. There's one on this one, and then there's one back. Another shot through there. So these are the angles that the camera's filming. And guess what? Cheryl Coker's house is right here. Okay, so the person is walking way back here, and they're just going to hop over the fence. Okay.
Going toward the back of their residence.
More video from October 2nd shows William Coker walking
and look at this. The same day, that evening, there he is, walking exactly the same as the person that you see.
Took and going toward the back of their residence.
More video from October 2nd shows William Coker walking into...
Then he walks into I think it's...
Kroger,
Yeah, Kroger, the same damn Kroger's, right? He walks in there. He's probably checking to see if anybody's noticed the car yet. But he's going to go into Kroger's, and guess what? He's got all black on, except there's shorts and a shirt.
Same evening. Watch as he leaves a few minutes later. Police say this is...
And boom, right there on his left elbow is already a scar, or not a scar, but it looks like an injury, just like the ones that they noticed. So it was already in existence that same evening.
A wound on his left arm. They also tell me he's refusing to take a lie detector test.
The ball's kind of in his court as to whether or not he would like to take one of those.
Surveillance video.
I mean, to me, this is stronger than the case that we just talked about yesterday. Right? Kingsbury. It's way... I don't know, man. I think it's way stronger than that one. There you go. See, Caligal 3, I told you. Grady convinced me. Wow, he walked home. I mean, it gets even... There's more stuff here, you guys. This is... It's crazy. I was going through all the stuff that I had. I actually interviewed 3 of the family members for like an hour and a half. So if you want, maybe we'll do this on another... That part, unless we have time on this one to do it, but I don't think so. We can play that. Maybe tomorrow would be good, just so you're... You know, we're into it, and we can go over it. Yeah. So let's see, where were we? Let me go back to the newspaper. We'll just go through all the stuff that I've got. By the time it's over, you'll just feel, you know.
Ray,
I think this is...
me. Wow, he walked home.
This
Wow.
one's obvious.
Must not have enough evidence.
Yeah, I guess not. But, I mean, isn't that enough evidence when they arrested the guy in the other case just for merely driving in a direction and having some, you know, arguments and stuff with a girlfriend? I mean, I think this has got more information than that one, than Kingsbury or Madeline, you know. Let's see. Riverside police meet to discuss missing woman. Riverside police. This is in December of 2018. Police met Thursday morning in what officers described as a long meeting about the investigation into the disappearance of Cheryl Coker. No, and by the way, Bill Coker is their only suspect and is their main suspect in this case. No one has been charged or named as a suspect in the disappearance of Cheryl Coker, 46, who was last seen October 2nd after dropping her daughter at school. Her SUV was found October 3rd in a parking lot, locked with the driver's license, but that surveillance is from the 2nd. So it was right after she was at home, you know. Now, we are still actively investigating her disappearance, Riverside Police Major Adam Collins said Thursday, adding that there have not been any new developments in the case within the last few weeks. In an exclusive interview with News Center 7 James Brown last month, William Coker, News Center 7's James Brown last month, William Coker said he has theories about his wife Cheryl Coker's disappearance, though he wouldn't elaborate because, you know, he didn't want to hurt their daughter. I wish I knew, Coker said, noting he and their daughter love her and miss her very much and just hope she comes home. Cheryl Coker filed for divorce from William Coker, her husband of 19 years, on September 21st. Oh, yeah. Cheryl. Okay, then it was February 14th was a special by that same lady that was did that anchor woman. Sorry, her name is Cheryl Henry, that lady that did that special where she was standing in the front and they showed the surveillance footage for the first time of a person walking. All right. And that's her right there.
For Sister Margie's daughter.
In a fairly good mood. You know, things had been going on, but she
posted on Facebook how excited she was to see her daughter. The next morning, October 2nd, detectives say Cheryl left her house on Christie Avenue about 7:15, dropped off her daughter at Stebbins High School, then got back home around 7:35. She spent the next few minutes sharing posts on Facebook.
See that? She sent posts on Facebook.
At about 7:45 that
was
morning,
the first, though.
Pretty much everything electronically with her just stopped.
3 hours minutes sharing posts on Facebook.
At about 7:45 that.
So 7:45 was the last time she interacted with another soul.
She doesn't go anywhere without that phone.
Riverside detectives have worked diligently.
I'm just skipping it around here.
For divorce on September 21st, seeking custody and alimony. Cheryl knew her husband had a girlfriend. Police have questioned
him right
both.
there.
They've both been very cooperative with us at this point.
For divorce on September 21st, seeking custody and alimony. Cheryl knew her husband had.
See, here we go again, you guys. Custody and alimony.
A girlfriend. Police have questioned both.
They've both been very cooperative with us.
And Cheryl made more than he did.
7. I tried operative. And then there were suspicious texts. Bill Coker's girlfriend told police Cheryl texted her on August 28th, asking that if Cheryl were to die or wasn't in the picture.
You know what that was? That was Bill fishing to see if she, also, and setting it up so it had two elements to it. It's like he's trying to see what she thinks about him, and also if, to set it up like Cheryl might be disappearing someday. It's like a suicide warning.
Picture, would she pursue a permanent relationship with Bill?
It was reportedly sent by Cheryl, but we're not 100% convinced that she actually did send it.
See, that's so cool that we naturally have the same instinctual thoughts.
Not dead. And remember the trip to Florida Bill Coker had taken with his daughter? Police confirm he took his girlfriend too, something Cheryl's best friend says Cheryl could not have known.
And I think that Mama Bear
I have a feeling there was planning on that trip.
would have came out if she would have known that other woman was going.
Police are committed to finding Cheryl no matter how long it takes.
Oh, that was when he had hair, I guess.
Family.
I just wanted to come.
No, that doesn't even look like him. Maybe that's a brother or something. I don't know who that is. Okay. So, police have a suspect in the Coker case. So that's the husband. So this is February 15th, right? So for the first time since Cheryl Coker went missing more than 4 months ago, Riverside police are saying they have a suspect. We do have a suspect in this case. However, we are not really going to comment on that right now. 46-year-old Cheryl Coker was reported missing late the night of October 2nd by her sister, Margie Keenan. She had gone looking for her younger sister when Cheryl's 15-year-old daughter called. When Cheryl's 15-year-old daughter called to tell her she hadn't seen or heard from her mother and couldn't reach her. The pit of my stomach, something hurt, and I knew something wasn't right, Keenan said. According to police, Coker had left her Christie Avenue house at around 7:15 that morning to take her daughter to Stebbins High School and drove back home, arriving at 7:35. Detective Abney said Coker spent the next few minutes sharing posts on his Facebook page. On her Facebook page. So she was probably sitting there putting messages on Facebook. He already knew that she filed for divorce, and then he probably came up behind her and strangled her in a way where it's just, there's no signs, right? Like just smothered her or held her in a way where there's no damage to parts of her body. Coker's family discovered her vehicle the next evening on October 3rd using the Find My iPhone app. They became alarmed when police found a backpack inside the vehicle containing Cheryl's purse and cell phone. So where is Cheryl Coker? Her family doesn't believe she just left. She would never be gone without calling her 15-year-old daughter, said Cheryl's mother, Mary Carroll. Detectives also don't believe Coker was abducted. It is interesting to note, however, there were a number of key developments in the personal life in the months before she went missing. Cheryl Coker filed for divorce from William Coker, her husband of 19 years, on September 24th, seeking custody of their teenage daughter and spousal support. Bill Coker had a girlfriend, and Cheryl knew about the woman. Detectives have interviewed both people. Abney said they both been very cooperative. Cheryl Coker had begun dating and met a man she liked at Julia's nightclub in Miami Township. Police also have questioned him. So there was a man then. Police also questioned him and say, but that just sounds like one person, not that she left with every single night with somebody else. He has been fully cooperative. In the 5 weeks before her disappearance, there were some texts that have drawn detectives' attention. On October 28th, Bill Coker's girlfriend told police Cheryl texted her asking that if Cheryl were to die. Is that how it was worded, by the way? Or did it say I? Hold on a second. Let me go back to that. I just realized that would be that would be crazy. Wow, my eye went right to it on that page. How weird. That never happened. The text messages were sent to Cheryl, and it said, if I were to die or leave the picture, so it said I. So if Cheryl were to die, I'd like to see the actual wording of that. Thanks, Shogun Love. She gave Detective Abney photographed the number, which began. The conversation begins at 8:05. Cheryl asked Aaron that if she were to die, or if she wasn't in the picture, would she pursue a permanent relationship with William? Yeah. That just doesn't sound like... Who the hell would write something like that? Anybody? Nobody. Pursue. It reportedly was sent by Cheryl, but yeah, they said they aren't sure. Police have suspect. Okay, that one looks similar. Then 2019, also, this is the 20th. That's not the one. Let's see, where is it? Right here. Husband and suspect's wife disappearance a homicide. Husband's a suspect, wife's disappearance a homicide. Okay. On Tuesday, police for the first time said they are investigating the 46-year-old. That seems like just a recap of the other one. Okay. Then 3 months later, on May 27, 2019, Coker billboard serves as a reminder she's still missing. A billboard installed Tuesday near the intersection of Spinning and Burkhart Roads is up to remind the community of the disappearance of Cheryl Coker. So that's looks like an actual picture of it there. Riverside hosts vigil for missing woman. 1 year ago today, Riverside mother Cheryl Coker disappeared. She has not been seen since. Coker was last seen the morning of October 2nd. This is the 1 year anniversary of 2018, dropping off her daughter at Stebbins High School. In Coker's memory, there will be a candlelight vigil at 7 tonight at St. Helens Parish, 605 Granville Place in Riverside. The vigil will be behind the church. Coker's phone records show she made it back home. Her car was later seen in surveillance footage. See, doesn't that just... Look at it like this. She gets home at 7:45 and just having random, casual text messages with her... so 7:35 she makes it home. And then for 10 minutes she's just posting on Facebook. Willy-nilly, right? Then 3 hours later, the car takes off, her vehicle only, and goes over here with a man wearing all black getting out of the vehicle, and then that same person makes it all the way home, back to the exact house, like right there. And guess what, everybody? Bill Coker admits to being there the whole time. He says, yeah, I thought she was, I was in the house. Somebody must have came in and killed her and, just left. But he admits to being in the house the whole time. How in the hell is that even... why isn't he in jail yet? Why don't you wait for the rest of the sentence before you start typing? Are your hands on the keyboard as I'm talking? It's wild. All right, so that was February... All right, let's go to this one. This is February 20th, 2020, and here we go. Yeah, so no arrests have been made a year after a suspect was publicly named. No arrests have been made in the disappearance of the death of Riverside mother Cheryl Coker. but police said search warrants have been executed as recently as this week. Riverside Police named Coker's husband, Bill, as a suspect in her disappearance on February 19, 2019, and said they believe she is dead. Coker went missing on October 2, 2018. Bill Coker is the only publicly named suspect in the case. He has never been charged in connection with his wife's homicide. Over the last 17 months, the Riverside Police Department has continuously investigated the disappearance of Cheryl Coker. Riverside Police said the department has partnered with federal, state, and local agencies. The 46-year-old Riverside mother disappeared after dropping her 15-year-old, so that was a 15-year-old, not some younger daughter, off for school. She was never heard from again. Police, so that 15-year-old might have information, and now she's probably old enough to not care. I wonder what she's thinking, because the rest of her family, I think, wholeheartedly believe Bill is involved here, and then she's probably 19 now. That's kind of a weird one, right? Police also released surveillance video from the day Cheryl was last seen of a man dressed in black with white gloves. Yeah, he had white gloves on too, walking away from the parking lot where Cheryl's SUV would be found, and again in the area behind the Coker's house. Investigators found her car on October 3rd with her belongings inside at the Kroger parking lot. Bill had a girlfriend. So, she filed for divorce on September 21st, 2018. Bill had a girlfriend, and Cheryl knew about her. Cheryl had also begun dating and met a man she liked at Julia's nightclub. I don't think she would be devastated by the divorce if she met a man that she liked. I don't know, but they did meet the person. So they say police have questioned Cheryl's boyfriend and Bill's girlfriend and say they have been cooperative. Professional searches from the Midwest chapter of Texas EquiSearch made multiple sweeps of targeted areas but haven't found Cheryl's body. Bill Coker had maintained his innocence, but in October, Cheryl's family said they don't believe it. It's basically just finding her, and I can't imagine what he could have done with her, said Cheryl's mother, Mary Carroll. All right, then April 28th, 2020. Hunters find Coker's remains. Cheryl's never been forgotten by the community. Bones found over the weekend in a wooded Greene County area were identified as the remains of Cheryl Coker, the Riverside woman who disappeared 2018 after dropping off her teenage daughter at school. Greene County Sheriff Gene Fisher made the announcement Monday afternoon. Riverside Police Chief Frank Robinson also attended the press conference and said the discovery of Coker remains is bittersweet. We have never given up on this case, he said. We have never wavered from continuing to follow on all the evidence that we have collected. Cheryl's never been forgotten. Her birthday was the past Friday. She would have been 48 years old. Coker's bones were found by a mushroom hunter. I mean, can we get a ding for the mushroom hunters again? Saturday at around 6:30 p.m. The case officially has been treated as a homicide investigation for more than a year. Numerous searches by friends, family, neighbors, community volunteers, and professional search firms had not uncovered her remains. The area where her body was found was a wooded area, Fisher said. It's private property and not a common area for a person to go to. There's no evidence that her body had been buried, investigators said. Neither Fisher nor Robinson could come up with a reason Monday why Coker would be in the area where she was found. Let's see, A6 here. Yeah. So they're just going to repeat the other stuff and the rest of it. He found remains. Oh, yeah, here it is. A 911 caller said that he found remains near Waynesville, Jamestown Road in Cesar Creek Township. I found some bones along the side of the road, and it was actually wearing clothes, I think the man said. See? wearing clothes, killed right out of her house. The man said that I think what happened is he used his own vehicle to transfer Cheryl's body, and then probably whatever he carried her and dumped her with he took that item and threw it somewhere else. The man said that the remains appeared to be wearing pants and a sweatshirt, probably the same thing she was last seen wearing. The bones are just bones, but there is clothing with them, he said. I just touched the bottom part with a stick to see if they were actually wearing, and it appears they've either stuck to whatever the bones are was wearing the pants. Robinson said telling the family about the finding was difficult for his department, as the family is now forced to grieve. Yeah. So she was found. Let me show you where she was found. She was found right over here in this little random patch here. You can see people just drive right by that, right? So there's nobody's going to care about it. And there's street view here, so we can see it. So whoever it was just drove by. I mean, it's Bill Coker, but I mean, it's my opinion. Okay, so he drove up here like this, and then I think it was right at this corner here, right down in there. So when you watch, there's some videos that I've seen where they walk through the woods here, and it's just down in there. And so that's where her body was put, in a random place that probably nobody would even think to go walking in, just some random mushroom hunter. No, it's not a culvert, Cindy. It's not where she was found anyways. Wow. Alright, so what's this one say? Yeah, and let's take a look here, and now we can just verify it. I think we're looking at the exact spot right here. Just a second. Yeah, so they're kind of, it's too, I mean, there's a creek up there. So look at right here. I mean, there's a little bridge right there, then it's different time of year. But you can definitely see right up here that there's the little bridge that goes over a little tiny creek. Is that a culvert? Jesus. Anyways, it says Cheryl Coker's mother prayed that her daughter would be found and said it's hard knowing now that she's really gone. Yeah, I mean, it must be, I think they knew that she wasn't alive this whole time, but once you get given the, yeah, you're just saying it because there's another case with a culvert, so you wanted to try to connect it somehow. Autopsy reveals no sign of injury, so that makes it hard, right? So now they don't have they can't determine how she died. So that's why Bill Coker is, all he had to do was smother her to death or hold her in a way where she died. He was he was I think like an MMA fighter type guy somehow, or learned some of those techniques or something. And of course he could just do something and she wouldn't be able to breathe, and then she dies, and then he puts her body there and there's no really evidence of how she died because it's bones. Now if she'd been found really quickly, they could have determined that, but it wasn't. Oh, by the way, this is Zozo's dog with the blue notebook. But you want to hear something funny? This dog right here weighs twice what Chloe weighs already. Alright, so this is something that was written by the family in a post somewhere. Here we go. I am Cheryl's sister-in-law. I have refrained from speaking out in respect to her mother. So this must be Cheryl's brother's wife. I've refrained from speaking out in respect to her mother and younger daughter. I want to share with you all with what I know. I only care about Cheryl coming home. I saw Cheryl the day before she came missing. Come on, everybody, let's get back to focus here. Let's see. I want to share with you all with what I know. I only care about Cheryl coming home. I saw Cheryl the day before she came missing. I am going to copy-paste a message that I replied to a previous neighbor that reached out to me. Our hearts are heavy. I could care less whose feelings we hurt. Please know the below is how her brother Chuck and I feel. We do not speak for the rest of the family. Thank you. We do know this, and the detectives know this as well. This is a reply to a neighbor. In fact, the girl he is dating works at, I think it was like a Lowe's or something. I can't remember. Her name is Erin. We just found out he took the girlfriend on a trip to Florida with his youngest daughter the weekend before Cheryl disappeared. This was a trip Cheryl was originally planning to go on. After her husband refused to stop seeing Erin, Cheryl filed for divorce. I will share what we know, and I don't care who you share it with. Out of respect for Cheryl's youngest daughter and her mother, I will keep this off Facebook. 2 weeks before her disappearance, the husband broke the home security camera and refused to fix it. Listen to all this stuff. She filed for divorce a week before her disappearance. I think it was more like 2 weeks, but the day he was served, he tried to run her off the road when he left for the trip to Florida with, when he left, the day he was served, he tried to run her off the road when he left for the trip to Florida with his daughter. As he walked out the door and said to Cheryl, "You will move out while I'm gone." They got into an argument in front of their daughter, and he left. He was gone Thursday through Monday night at around 11 p.m. Tuesday morning, Cheryl took her daughter to school at Stebbins High School. The husband was off work on Tuesday, and the daughter told Cheryl her dad was picking her up from school. They both were living in the same house because neither wanted to give up the home. Tuesday night, around 8:30 p.m., the youngest daughter became worried because she couldn't get in touch with her mom. This is the same girl that was dropped off at school. And started making phone calls. At midnight, Cheryl's mom and sister met the cops at Cheryl's house. They did a quick look, talked to the husband, and put out a bolo. On Wednesday, Cheryl's oldest daughter found her car, cell phone, purse, and work computer in the car. I know the cops have questioned the husband extensively and have searched the home and have found nothing. I will note he is well versed in hand-to-hand combat, and he used to teach hand combat. I just reached out to the WHIO to talk to them. I keep thinking of different scenarios, and nothing makes sense other than he did something. Her neighbors saw both cars in the driveway at 10:40, and at 10:48 her car was parked 1.5 miles from her house. He could have easily made it home by 11, disposed of her body, and pick his daughter up from school. I don't know what time she gets picked up at school. Tuesday makes 4 weeks. So that other surveillance footage wasn't released by then. And what does that say again? So no, that's 11:13. So yeah, it's right around what she's saying. And he walks back here, probably gets home by 11:17 or so. Dispose of her body and pick his daughter up. No, I think what he did was he had her a little bit like Letitia Stout, probably had her body in his car, and there was a time. I don't know what time. Yeah, I mean, if you pick the daughter up at school at 3 something, which sounds that's normally when kids got off of school, then he's got hours. I mean, he's got like 4 hours to do that. I feel it's time to put pressure on the husband, William Coker, and his girlfriend, Erin, for answers. So if you look at where she was found, I mean, it's pretty clear. You just go a straight line from here into Xenia, go off on one of the spoke wheels, turn right on 68, and boom. The miles-wise, it's not far. So just generally, as a crow flies, it's 15. So let's just say like 22 miles. Round trip would be an hour at the most. I mean, easy. Who knows, Hash Brown? I really don't give a shit. All right, so I think he took county roads instead of highway. Well, who knows what he took, right? You know what I mean, Hash Brown? Who knows what he took? So I'm glad you think that. We don't know anything. All we know is that it was an hour drive-ish to get to the spot, and there we go. You know what I'm saying? Did you hear Gray? He was so mean. Yeah, he could have took any ways. He could have driven on 1,000. He could have started off right here, drove down to there, taken a right, gone down this direction, cut across over here, got onto this highway for a little bit, cut over here, went onto this road, went down like this. Boom! I mean, we can all talk about that. I'm just telling you that it's 22 miles. However he got there, he got there. Doesn't matter if he took back roads. Doesn't matter anything like that at all. It's like an hour total round trip. So 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, and maybe 15 minutes. Probably drove around, noticed there was nobody on that little side road. So I bet you anything, he came right off of this highway, turned, and when he was over here, he was like, oh shit, there's nobody around. Pulls over really quick, looked around. I mean, let's see what it looks like from right here. If you're right there, and see, it kind of goes around a corner, didn't see anybody. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows, how he felt safe enough to do it. Let me think. I think he had a drone flying in the sky with a camera on it, and he was watching it as he was doing it. Not a bad idea, huh? You think it was 1 hour and 4 minutes, Daryl? Okay. All right, we'll put that in the book there. Daryl Montgomery says 1 hour and 4 minutes. Have you made any assessments on the number of seconds that it might have been after that? 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 37 seconds, do you think? Or more like 36? And don't worry, Hash Brown, I'm just teasing you. You know what I think, though? I think he took a helicopter. I think he had one of those vests on with a hook. He called up a helicopter, and he had a huge bag that he had with him. People thought it was just him pretending to be Santa Claus for a day or two. And a helicopter came by, and boom! It went right into that hook and took him there. And then flew him back. I mean, there are UFO sightings for that day, and I think that might be exactly what that is. What else do we have in the newspaper here? 2021, October 2nd. 3 years later, no arrests in Cheryl Coker's case. Due to the condition of the remains, near complete skeletonization, the precise cause of death could not be determined, the autopsy report read. However, the circumstances surrounding the disappearance, and why would Cheryl go all the way there and put herself in those woods? Give me a break. As the postmortem changes are consistent with the time period and clothing is reported. So she's wearing the same clothing she was wearing when she came home. Okay? So that should tell you something. What's that? Oh, that was this crime scene. This lady was all over the...
of death. And visit Cheryl's, quote, Kroger parking lot at Spinning and Prairie 2019, Riverside police told me Cheryl's death is considered a homicide. At that time, they named her husband, William Coker, as a suspect. However, police have never charged him. In April of last year, a mushroom hunter found Cheryl Coker's remains in rural Greene County. An autopsy report suggested homicidal violence played a role in her death, but the medical examiner could not determine an exact cause of death.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. So, what was that again? The dogs are freaking out.
At Stebbins High School. The next day, investigators found her vehicle in the Kroger parking lot at Spinning and Burkhart. Then in February 2019, Riverside police told me Cheryl's death is considered a homicide. At that time, they named her husband, William Coker, as a suspect. However, police have never charged him. In April of last year, a mushroom hunter found Cheryl Coker.
Okay.
Remains in rural Greene County. An autopsy report suggested homicidal violence played a role in her death, but the medical examiner could not determine an exact cause of death. I spoke with Cheryl's mother and sister today. They said they will spend the day together tomorrow and visit Cheryl's grave. Her sister, Margie Keenan, said, quote, although I have faith in the justice system, it is hard knowing there is only one suspect reported, and investigators still have not been able to make a case in the criminal courts. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation is now handling the case, and they told us 2 weeks ago there is nothing new to share in the Coker case and that it is still an open and active investigation.
Storm Center 7
well, they
is
quit,
weather
they quit
coverage
arguing.
you can count on.
So what time is it? 2:08. Maybe we can try to play that. Let's see. You guys want to listen to that?
Continuing to keep Cheryl out there.
I mean, it's an hour and 44 minutes long now. That's the thing. I mean, well, we're going to have to get the goal, keep extending the goal to play this. This one is an hour and 44 minutes. I mean, I guess I could try to do something in... Let me see if I can shrink it down somehow. And that way I can just listen to it and do something else, I guess. Because I'm in the interview. I'm going to open up Adobe Premiere really quick and try to do my audio sound technique. So, hold on. Thanks, Danielle. Oops, shit. I don't like that one. Alright. Pitch. What'd you call me, Gray? No, I said pitch. Alright, here we go. Speed and duration. Let's try to speed it up to 1:18. Alright, now it's an hour and 27 minutes. And this is what it sounds like.
His ex in the hospital. No.
Yeah, I heard that. That was the guy that was in the car.
That's me. That's me, though. You guys want to listen to it like that? No. Hold on. So then you go to the pitch thing. And it's probably going to be like this. Tell me when you think it sounds like me. Hold on. Or talking to him. The interview. That's pretty close, right?
Yeah, yeah. And just so you know, Gray, Tina has been...
That's really close, don't you think? I mean, that sounds like me, I think.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I heard that. I could do it like this in the car talking to him. The interview.
Yeah. And just so
How
you
about this
know,
one?
Gray, Tina has been friends with Cheryl since...
Quote it. He says, I never in my entire life hurt the mom of the twins.
because I know that she would get the repercussion if I did. So
was he physically abusive to her, or more mental?
There we go.
He has been physically, where, like I said, he's
Abusive to her, or more mental? I think that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. All right, hold on. God, the stuff I do for you guys, man. It's, you guys are. I'm shaving off like 20 minutes here, so hold on. Alright, it's going this way. Cindy, just let things develop, okay? Sometimes it takes a little bit to kick in. So hopefully it's not one of the longest. I guess we could play it from here, but it looks like it's a mono track. Did it sound normal to you guys through the ears and everything? I mean, we could just try to play it from here if you want to.
continuing to keep Cheryl out there.
Yeah, they were thanking me for continuing to talk about it.
That it does mean a lot, and I know that I've wanted to talk to you for a while, but it's just been hard.
All right, you want to just play from here? Hey, thanks, Lisa Valenzuela. All right, here we go. Does it sound normal coming out of both ears for you guys? Let me look. I can actually just tell using this program. Let's see.
Continuing to keep Cheryl out there.
Yeah.
That it does mean a lot, and I know that I've wanted to talk to you for a while, but
right now, hold on. Yep.
It's just been hard and not knowing really what to say or what to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And how are you are I can't remember.
I'm Cheryl's sister-in-law. I'm
sister-in-law.
her
That's what I thought.
Brother's wife.
Okay, and it looks like so the lady talking right now is the one that wrote that letter that we just read. That's her. Thank you, Lisa Valenzuela, Kathy Chapin. There we go. All right, here we go. The other two are on here. Right now.
Hello.
Shelly,
yeah, I'm on.
Shelly and Tina, best friends?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess, I mean, I've been covering it since the beginning, so we were always looking at all the different, the timelines and everything. And I think everybody's pretty squared away with all of that. I mean, it seems really obvious that, the car left the property at maybe, close to 11, 10 something. Well, and then it drove over to the
10:52 or
10:52. Then drove over to the mall area, dropped off the car. Then you see the figure walking. Then they walk all the way back around. Yeah, see, this it's actually more accurate now. That was early on, so it was like 11:10. I would say it left there at like 10:42, the house, and then it was 10:52 when somebody got out of the 10:53 when somebody got out of the vehicle, but it parked at 10:48. This is me live, by the way. And then two witnesses saw them, and then of course they're not going to walk through the front door because then you'd know exactly, where that person was going. So they go back behind by the school, and they're caught on 3 different cameras.
Right. I want to just note about that, him walking behind the house, or that figure walking behind the house.
Mm-hmm.
When we would have family get-togethers, like on the 4th of July, or he's even done it on New Year's Eve, he would put off fireworks in the schoolyard. So he would walk down, I think it was like 2 or 3 houses, and walk around behind the house, or behind their property.
Mm-hmm.
He would set off the fireworks, and then he would jump that fence. It was easy for him to jump the fence because there was a chain link fence behind their white privacy fence.
It would just been amazing if one of those cameras had just pointed a little bit more to the right.
Yes.
All right. all three of them basically are pointing at the same location, just at in different, but the camera's in a different spot. So that was sort of frustrating.
It didn't pick that person up, to my knowledge, jumping over the fence, but I've seen him jump that fence several times, so I know he can do it.
It just shows them walking by the camera. I don't know if they didn't release some of the footage that they have there, but I mean, it's really obvious. You got a car that left Cheryl's house, and then all of a sudden the person who was driving that car is within 30 feet of the house on surveillance on the school cameras, right? I mean, so the odds of that not being somebody associated. I mean, I think everybody thinks that the husband is the one who did this, Bill. Okay,
right.
And I've said that 1,000 times.
Well, Bill has said that admitted he was home with Cheryl, and then he said that he slept downstairs that night before. But I know that Bill has all kinds of allergies, and he has like some kind of filter stuff in their bedroom that he sleeps there. And Cheryl has told me she sleeps on the couch, he sleeps in the bedroom. So what made it different that night before she disappeared, why all of a sudden he wants to claim that he slept downstairs?
Yeah. I mean, what about the witnesses that say they saw a truck in the driveway? Because if you look at Google Earth, it's a one-lane driveway, but you can actually see that they've expanded it. Well, on the older Google Earth, if you go forward to now, they've expanded it so that two cars could fit into the driveway.
Right.
Was his truck?
And Bill had bought truck. When they bought his truck, they had that area expanded.
Okay.
So that would pull his truck up closer to the house instead of on the side of the street.
Now, was his car parked there? Are there witnesses that place his truck in the driveway?
Yes, both vehicles were in the driveway. Both of their own vehicles were in the driveway.
So where does he claim he was if he wasn't? I mean, that's what's so bizarre. The car takes off, and it's not Cheryl in the car. We know now because it's the guy wearing black. So how is he? What is he claiming Cheryl did? Like he admits that he was there, right? Right there.
But he says he was right. Yeah, he admits he was there. Yes, but he says
it was in the affidavit that he even claimed that he was there, and he claimed that he went back to bed after Cheryl said that her car wouldn't start, and then he went out to try to start it, and then he told Cheryl that the battery was dead, but he's claiming that she was in the shower.
Oh man!
But also the neighbor said that.
Don't you think that's insane? How come wouldn't that be enough for a jury to go, it's not reasonable for you to say that you were taking a shower when somebody drove her car away from her own house and then left, so she wasn't in that car. It was somebody wearing all black who walked all the way back to your house again. It's ridiculous.
They seen him jump in the car around 9. And that was, this is one of my concerns is, she wouldn't have been in the shower at 9. She would get in the shower around 8 o'clock because she's got to be at work by 9.
Mm-hmm.
So she wouldn't have known her car was dead.
You know what I mean? It was a nice size. It was warm that day, so she wouldn't have gone out there to heat her car up. Right. I think it was
before she got ready.
Yeah. So when was this is the affidavit out there for public consumption? I've never seen that.
It is. I'll email it to you.
Yeah, definitely email. Do you have my email? I can tell it. It's GRAY. So GRAY. Oh man, I just heard myself. And then HUZE2. So it's It's like it's not. It's phonetically saying Hughes. So GRAY and then HUZE2
I think that's what she sent me. I don't remember.
I mean, I've seen some Yeah, no Z. Yeah, well, it's GRAY, H as in Harry, U, Z as in zebra, E, and then 2@gmail.com. Just the number 2 there.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, I don't have. I just have the search warrant affidavit. That's all I have. But that is basically Bill and Aaron's version of events that happened.
All right.
So
there's definitely some lies in there. Because on the one thing that she says, Aaron, remember she's saying they were friends. And in June when I talked to Cheryl, she was saying that Aaron was texting Bill saying, I just want it to be you and I. And that's my point. A friend's not doing that. The friend's not trying to steal your husband.
Just wanted to be you and I.
You know, Erin knows what she got into when she got involved. That's not. And then a friend.
I think it's a conspiracy with them.
Doesn't text. Oh, okay. In August, what it is when she says that Cheryl texts her, saying if I'm gone. I forgot what it exactly says in the affidavit. If I'm gone.
Are you guys anybody around listening to this? I can do this tomorrow or not because nobody's typing. It's just sort of. I'm just listening. Great, you're right. But everybody's always listening. So make sure to converse about what you're hearing in the chat. Okay.
Well, basically, you still be Bill.
And make sure to hit that like button.
Cheryl didn't want Bill and her together. So we know it wasn't Cheryl, and it's the day that Bill was off. So I think he texted Erin from Cheryl's phone while Cheryl was in the shower and deleted it, and Cheryl never knew it was sent.
Yeah. Or just knew what
because that text was sent.
Yeah, or he knew what he was just about to do, so he didn't care about deleting it.
Right. Right, and with that text that supposedly Cheryl sent Erin, would you still love Bill if I wasn't around? Erin claims on the affidavit that she doesn't recall saying anything to Bill about that text that Cheryl has supposedly sent.
Cheryl.
And Erin's the girlfriend, so I thought from the beginning, I think there's some involvement on her part. I don't know if that's true. It's just my theory because I think he's had to have had help somewhere along the way. He had to have had someone help him.
Are they still seeing each other?
Oh yeah, she's over there probably 90% of the time.
Oh man, God, that's. Ooh.
And she's been there for quite a while since before Christmas, like a couple months after Cheryl went missing.
Yes, yeah.
That she's freely been over there.
Are they friends? Were they friends, Erin and Cheryl?
No.
But they weren't friends at all prior. I mean,
Cheryl knew about Erin, and that was basically it. You know, and because Cheryl had told me that Bill had a girlfriend, and I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, he has a girlfriend," and I'm like, "Well, she told me since May, but I think Erin's claiming since April." So, yeah,
of 2018 before Cheryl went missing.
Correct. But supposedly Erin and Bill started dating of April or May of 2018. Cheryl told me May, but like I said, I think Erin's claiming April of 2018.
And this is but there was like a swinger sort of thing going on, right? That's the truth?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
But they had an understanding that you weren't supposed to start seeing somebody exclusively, right?
One had to know about the other beforehand.
But they weren't supposed to get feelings ever.
Wait, what was that?
No feelings were supposed to be involved, though, towards somebody else.
Yeah, that never happens. You know what's weird is I don't know how anybody would ever actually agree. It's hard I could never do that. I guess I'm just lame or something.
And I told Cheryl myself.
Right.
You know, when Cheryl... Oh, sorry. But when Cheryl told me about it, you know, I was like... I said, I don't know how... I said, how can you watch your husband walk down the hallway into your guys' bedroom and not want to punch that bitch out? And she goes, well, you know, we've never been happy in our marriage. It makes things exciting. So, I mean, I think,
right.
Yeah.
And then the thing is I tried to warn her about, because we went to school with somebody whose mom and dad were swingers, and of course the mom fell for somebody. And I knew Bill was going to fall for somebody. I knew it was going to be Bill. I didn't think it was going to be Cheryl. And that's why I was trying to warn her about that. You know, I'm like, I don't think this is good, Cheryl.
But Cheryl loved to please Bill. You know, she always took up for Bill. I mean, Bill would say the rudest, meanest things. There has been times where they've gotten into an argument and he's left bruises on her arms. And then, you know, and there's times right before I would see Cheryl, she would tell me, she goes, well, Bill thinks that you hate him. And I'm like, why? Well, because he knows I tell you everything, and he knows that you know what all he's said and done. And I would say, you know, you have to live with him. I just hope that you're okay. And so she's like, yeah, things are really getting better. And, you know, like I tell everybody, their marriage was a marriage always working on the marriage. And, you know, ever since, I don't know, probably a couple years into their marriage, you know, it was always very rocky. But she would always try to make things work.
Yeah.
She did. She did. And, you know, we, like, the family had no idea about any of this until after she went missing. And of course, there's things that go on in a marriage that you don't tell your family, every little detail. I'm glad that Cheryl had Tina and Shelley to share with, and to vent to them about things that were going on between her and Bill. I mean, we always felt like, and I'd known Bill for almost 19 years, but pretty much the whole time they were married. But he always seemed like such a quiet, odd character. Someone who was always like sitting there watching. So it was surprising to me to know that he had a girlfriend. And I saw Cheryl the day before she went missing. We had flown home for a wedding that weekend, and she had told me, and that was the weekend that he took off on that trip to Florida. She didn't know the girlfriend was going.
And her daughter, too, right? And her daughter.
Yeah, and her daughter. And so when we first flew in, it was on a Friday. Didn't have much time to spend with her, but she had told me about we were talking about the divorce. And she's like, well, Barbie's got a girlfriend, and I've asked him 3 times to stop seeing her. And I'm like, oh, my God, Cheryl. I said, I wouldn't have had to ask once. But I didn't know about the other things. And then she was telling me that, I knew that she had filed, and it had been within maybe a week from that point that I saw her. And then she told me that he tried to run her off the road. So I'm like, Cheryl, are you serious? Do you feel safe? And the only thing she did that now it causes alarm to me, because when I asked her, I'm like, Cheryl, do you feel safe there? And she just kind of shrugged her shoulders in that unsure way. So, then someone came outside and our conversation got interrupted, so we didn't get to talk anymore about it. But she did tell me another time, too, that when Bill had left with the daughter that Thursday morning to go to Florida, he turned around and said to her, you will be gone when I get back. And they got into an argument. Then she said in front of the daughter, see how your dad's talking to me. So, we had talked to her, like, during that time, my husband and I did. We're like, just be careful. Going through a divorce can be very heated. You want to make sure he's not recording you to use it against you when you go to court. We had no idea or any thought that maybe she was in danger.
Yeah.
So, all of this, Cheryl was making sure she dotted her I's, crossed her T's, because she was fearful of him trying to make sure that she did not see Michaela. She was, she wanted to move out, but she couldn't because it would have been considered abandonment. And, so she tried to do everything she could, and when she was putting in applications, when it was time for her to be able to move out, she was telling me all the things that she needed to get. And I said, well, what about things in your house? And she said, well, Bill said I couldn't take anything. And I said, well, Cheryl, I said, half of that stuff in that house is yours. And she goes, I know. She goes, but he told me I wasn't allowed to take anything. And I said, well, it's not fair to you to where you have to move out and start all over. And I said, you have a living room set. And then I said, you have couches downstairs in the basement. I said, you should be able to take something. But she's like, I just want to get out of there.
And she had made the same comment to me that weekend as well, as far as things in the home. She said she didn't want anything. She wanted nothing out of there. And I'm like, Cheryl, you're crazy, because that's a lot of money. They had a lot of high dollar items in the home and on their, just things that you need to rebuild your life. And she just didn't want any of it. She just wanted to get this court proceeding done and to get out of it. But I didn't understand, and I wish I would have understood now, that she was really fearful.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the part about I was going to ask about when you were saying a minute ago about the almost being run over, and I remember there was something about a surveillance camera being turned off or something.
Well, I'm a little confused on the surveillance camera at their home. I was told by someone in the family that he had broke the camera a few weeks prior to her missing. But then when I went back and asked that person, I didn't remember saying that, but they did have an extensive surveillance camera, and they had one inside the home as well.
Oh, wow.
But after talking to Cheryl's mom, that had broken over the summer. That had been broken. I've heard that he accidentally broke it, and I'm quoting, he accidentally broke it. That's what I heard. But Cheryl liked having that camera in the home and outside the home. That way she could see what, you know, make sure her daughter got home safely after school, and, you know. But it was my understanding he broke it. I thought it was a couple weeks before she went missing, but after talking to Cheryl's mom, I think it.
Yeah, but by the way, everybody, isn't this just like I told you it was? A crazy case? Like, it's even more, you know, it's got way more information in it than some of these other ones. But a lot of people haven't even heard of this one, and I think it's like way more interesting than even the one that we just covered, right? It's not even close. This one is incredibly interesting with all kinds of stuff going on. And I think it's bizarre that it never really was a big deal. I mean, John Lorden covered it a little bit with me, and, you know, that was it. And I don't know what makes a case. I think back then, though, I mean, it was just me and maybe one or two other people really doing live true crime YouTube. Now every Tom, Dick, and Harry does it about any, you know, only the big cases over and over and over and over and over again. And then there's still me covering the other ones, but I get the same number of viewers now as I did then, because that's the only number of people that are interested in random cases. See,
was broken in the summer.
And what? No, I can't remember which month it was. Wasn't it October? October.
Yes, October 2nd.
Yeah, so it still can be warm out there. Just starting to get cool, but.
Well, it was unseasonably warm. When we were there, it was in the 80s, and even that morning it was around 70, 75 degrees.
Did any other houses have cameras that were picking up motions of? Maybe you don't know about those, right? Police probably have that.
Right.
Yeah, this interview was. It looks like I have the date of February 26, 2020. So this might be right after she was found, maybe, unless I don't know. Yeah, I think so. But the key would be to figure out when did his truck leave the house after you see the person coming back.
He met Aaron for lunch.
He what was that?
He met his girlfriend for lunch. So I don't know the time frame, but I'm thinking, you know, it had to have been maybe around noon.
That's what I say, Caligauter. I think he should be. This case right here is about 10 times more like, you know, Madeline Kingsbury's case. Like, that case doesn't have anywhere near what this one does. How come he's not arrested yet? I think a jury would say, yeah, that's him. It almost feels like they have some weird contradictory exculpatory type of information that is causing them hesitation. But all I can say is, you know, the circumstantial evidence here is massive. You know, a guy that she just wanted to get a divorce, asking for alimony, child support. He's been dating this other woman who's told him, I want us to just be together. And then there's a message from her phone saying, hey, if I was out of the picture, would you want to be with William full time, you know, long term? And that's sort of like a double. I think that was sent by Bill for two things: making it look like a possible suicide in the future when she disappears, and also checking on Aaron to see what she really thinks about him, and that kind of thing, you know. So you have that, and then he's he goes on a trip with Aaron and their youngest daughter to Florida, and when he comes back, the very next day after she gets off from dropping the daughter, see, isn't it just convenient again that she drops the daughter off at school? Now there's no witness when she comes home. You see what I'm saying? Like, what are the odds of all this? And he says he's even at home. It's crazy.
Or something that he had left to meet his girlfriend for lunch that morning.
Wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall in that conversation?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
That's
high
why
fives.
I feel like she had something to do with it as well. I mean, I've always felt like with this timeline, and I know that he met her for lunch, and then he made sure afterwards people saw him outside working in the yard. And the next day he went to work and he had scratches on his arm and, you know, and someone had asked him, and he had said, "Oh, I was, working in the yard," so he had an excuse for that.
God.
Yeah, but someone had told me, when like a married guy goes away on vacation with a girlfriend or vice versa, they're away from reality and they're having fun, and they could have saw Cheryl as a nuisance.
Yeah, that's exactly how I pictured it too. I pictured them going on a trip together and sort of, that's when the plan was made on that trip.
Right.
When the kid was asleep or something, they would. I don't know. Yeah, that's what it feels like. But it's weird.
Right.
I'm trying to, you piece together. You have the truck, his truck in the front of the house. Was it there? Did anybody see a gap in time where it went missing between 7:35 and 10:51?
I don't know. Well, I know the name. No, I don't know that. I don't know what that. I know that he was seen outside working on her work vehicle around 9 or 9:50.
Oh, that's interesting. So he's working on her vehicles. Because I was also thinking that after 7:45, this is me live again. So after 7:45, he could have disposed of her body during that time. Between 7:45 and when it left at 10:40. So there was 3 hours there too, right? And then there's another 3 hours when the daughter comes back. Before picking up the daughter at school, I would imagine. So you get what I'm saying? So it could have been between 7:45, but now it's saying that he was outside working on the car at 9 something.
And her work vehicles, because she was a crash technician, so she had I think it was a Ford Transit vehicle, and it was a new vehicle as well. So there would have been no reason she would have gone out to start that, warm it up before she went to take a shower. And supposedly he said the battery was dead, and he tried to jump it, and he said it wouldn't work. But the odd thing is that one of her coworkers had reached out, and when they had to come get the car the next day to tow it, with the hood release on the inside, it has that cable. Well, that cable was broken. And I guess the mechanic's like, well, that's odd that cable's broken that way. Because they could, when they went out it was the next day that her coworkers came out to start the car. And they did that because we had called her work to see if she was at work, because we didn't know. We didn't realize that she didn't go to work on Tuesday because it was late Tuesday night when we found out she was missing. So the next day, we had called her work, and they had told us that she didn't come into work, and that's when they went out and towed the car because it had sensitive items in it.
So they towed the car from in that the shopping mall over there?
No, they towed her work car from her house.
Oh, well, what was the car that was over there at the... that was driven?
That was her personal vehicle.
Oh, so there's 3 vehicles total.
There's 3 vehicles.
Right.
And her work vehicle was parked on the side of the road, in front of the house, but on the side of on the street.
I see. Okay.
And we had heard from neighbors that they saw Bill out there with Cheryl's personal vehicle in front of her work vehicle, like he was trying to jump it. I don't know why. I mean, my thought process is he's probably trying to get rid of her work vehicle to make it look like she'd gone to work that day.
But the work vehicle worked, though. Truck. There was nothing wrong with it, though, right? The work vehicle.
With the work vehicle, they couldn't get it started.
Yeah, I remember there's something, I don't remember if it's in this or somewhere, where the garage was expanded at one point so that 2 cars could fit here, and you can kind of see, like, in this one it's just grass there. And then if you go forward in time, see how it's like a way bigger driveway? So both of their cars were parked in the driveway, and then her work vehicle was parked out here, apparently. So her car was in the driveway too, which would make it, easy to use, or get in and sort of secretly if you wanted to. Oh, so maybe there was. Okay.
So I don't know what he did, what he was doing, but even when the work company came out the next day, on the 3rd of October, and they towed her vehicle in, my understanding is the mechanic was confused when he tried to open the hood and it wouldn't open, and that cable had been broken. And he made a comment about it. Really strange. It's hard to break that cable.
But what we were wondering was he going to possibly drive the work vehicle instead of her personal vehicle? Because the work vehicle was a work vehicle. Her personal vehicle was going to be in his possession, and we believe it was paid off.
I see.
Right, Barb?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was there a GPS device in the work vehicle?
No, Toyota's only. Oh, the work vehicle, yes. Yeah.
Huh.
Because I say that, I'm pretty sure it would be, because she worked with I think it was Department of Transportation, and she was a crash technician, so I'm sure that it had GPS. But my understanding of the two Toyotas, because he had a Toyota Tundra and she drove the Toyota Highlander.
Yeah,
the
Tacoma.
The Toyotas do not have GPS. Did he have the Tacoma?
Yeah, that's what he.
Yeah. So, but those vehicles, Toyotas, do not have GPS in them.
Okay.
Which is strange. We'd think a Toyota would.
I mean, it's funny. It's weird how similar, though, this is to the Madeline Kingberry one. They drop the kids off at school, come home, then he backs the car in towards the garage, and then, in that case, you have the timeline of his vehicle leaving, though. In this case, I think it's sort of weird that they don't have the time frame of another vehicle leaving the house, taking Cheryl's body away. I mean, where is that video? Like, okay, he leaves this house. We see him leaving on this camera, and he takes off, right?
I mean, they're not cheap cars.
So he has
It seems like that would be out there.
Oh, that's crazy. So you think maybe he was trying to start the work vehicle just to not have any of their vehicles involved with it, and then he could get, it'd be his car if she disappeared. It was paid off. And then, but he couldn't get that started, so then he just said, crap. Okay, well, I'll just use this one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
So if he's outside around 9 something, then, I mean, you guys probably don't believe she's still alive at this point, right? I mean.
No.
Right, yeah. Okay.
No.
So he probably had already killed her by.
Okay, so this interview must have been before, but the date on it is. Here, let me look at that again. Hold on. Where's the properties? Yeah, no, it says created on February 27, 2020. That's weird. Oh, was it April? Hold on, let me go back up. Maybe I'm thinking of this wrong. How come, am I backward? Oh, yeah, it was upside down. I was like, shit, that doesn't look right. Oh, no, it was April, so that was just 2 months prior to... I thought, look at that, it was 4/26. So the interview was 2 months exactly prior.
That time. When he's outside at 9. There's no way in hell he's going to be...
Right, because, I mean, a coworker reached out to her. What time was it, Barb? Like 9:15?
It was between 9 or 9:15, and had sent Cheryl a text and said, hey, are you coming in? Cheryl could work from home, but it was my understanding she had to go in on Tuesdays because she had to get her caseloads for that week. So they were expected to be there at 9 on Tuesday. So her coworker had texted her and asked her if she was coming in, and she said, or there was no response. Cheryl did not reply.
And Cheryl's a person that's always on time. She's a very responsible
and would have replied.
Worker.
Yeah.
And would have replied. Or she would have said something the night before or very early that morning.
Yeah, but would have replied if she didn't do that, right? I mean, like.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Cheryl had her phone on her all the time, and yes, she definitely would have. I mean, especially like I said, she dotted every I and crossed every T. She needed that job because she was planning on living on her own.
I think so she made it home, and then from dropping the child off at school, and then was texting, Facebooking, messaging till like 7:40.
Till like 7:46.
7:46. Okay.
Nothing after that.
Right. There was nothing else after that.
It's almost like he came up right behind her while she was Facebooking or something.
Right. And the other thing that I find that I find puzzling and disturbing. And I can't talk about anything that, I'm not supposed to talk about or the detectives have shared with me. But one thing that I do find puzzling is the fact that it was a year ago, it was the middle of February when they considered it a homicide. Well, I got a phone call from a friend's daughter who works with Bill at Costco. And I guess a coworker had asked Bill, why are they just now considering this a homicide? It had been like 5 months later. And he had told them that they considered it a homicide because her Fitbit went to zero. And I can't remember exactly what he said, but something to the effect, they're saying that's when her heart stopped, that, her Fitbit was at a normal pace, it jumped up to 120, and then it dropped to zero.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. I don't remember that part. So she had a Fitbit on that went up to 120 and then dropped to zero. And what time was that, man? Wouldn't that be amazing to know the time of that? I bet it was right around that time, 7:50, 7:45.
Oh, like adrenaline and then zero.
One thing that's disturbing to me about that is that
Wow.
I've worn a Fitbit for, 6-7 years. It has never dropped to zero, ever. When I take it off, it stops recording at what it was. So if my heart rate was 70, it just stops recording at 70.
So okay. Yeah, so it wouldn't be like, well, let's say it went...
No, that's when you took it off, it would do that. But if you keep wearing it and it went to zero, it would probably record a zero if it's still on and running on your body.
Let's say it was beating, but it was 10 beats a minute. Would it record that?
No, I don't know.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like if it's still on and maybe it's heat. I don't know how those...
Hey, it's great to hear myself think the same way that I do now. See, you guys, I don't change, man. I'm the same. I mean, don't I sound the same 5 years ago in that interview as I do now when I do the same interviews?
Those things work. I'll be honest with you, but
And maybe that's something you can ask your viewers. If any of them has a Fitbit, if it showed that their heart rate dropped down to zero.
Yeah, and then what they could probably do is put it on maybe they could put it on a different part of their body that doesn't have a beat.
See how I do these interviews? I just sort of I'm just one of them hanging out, just talking, going through stuff. Whenever you see the guys on TV, they do it. They miss stuff. They don't get to hear a lot of good stuff because they just kind of want to pull out the narrative they want you to know, right?
In there. But then just see if the heat keeps it recording. You see?
Well, the Fitbit's also in that other case that remember the one that I can't remember the name currently, but it's the one where she was at home and her husband was at a movie with a friend, came home. I mean, I think that case is probably similar to this one too. Came home, because remember, and that guy's dating somebody else. See, again, I think I've even referred to that case as being like Cheryl Coker. I forgot the name of it right now in my head, but remember, it's the case where she parked her car right next to this bridge, and they thought she jumped off the bridge, but when they looked at the water, there was rocks at 5 different spots that would make sure a body could never travel down that way. And remember, he started dating somebody right after that. I mean, it's almost identical to these kids. There's so many similarities to all these.
Because the thing is like it would be recording, but then there would be no beats if you died, but it would still be on. I don't know how it works, so...
The name almost popped in my head.
I don't know if heat keeps it going.
Why not buy it? She's taking hers off, and it
stopped.
There's like no data.
Stopped recording. So I don't know what like.
That's when you take it off, though, right? So if you don't take it...
When I take it off, it's never gone to zero. It stops recording at the rate.
Right. So you wonder if body heat is what keeps it kind of going, right? Because you took it off, but what if you kept it on and your heart rate went to 30, 20, 10?
Well, that would be I probably need to see a cardiologist.
Well, that's true. That's true, but that's what I'm saying, though. But let's say I'm going with dying.
Because I wear it on my wrist, and I monitor my heart rate a lot, especially if I'm doing walks and I see like a spike in it, or I do monitor mine a lot. Every day I look at to see what my heart rate, just for physical fitness purposes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know one of the things that was just one of the things to me that was bizarre that he was telling his coworkers. that he works with. But that's my understanding too, that the coworkers have been asked not to talk about what's going on either.
And he could have just made that up to give a reason why. Like it's nothing, But although that does, suggest that she was killed, like because if it went up to one, it seemed really specific what he was saying.
Right, that it was at a, whatever it was, and then it jumped up, and then it dropped to 0.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find, like, when I do, like, a hard walk, I could see my heart rate go up, and then, but it gradually comes down. It doesn't just, like...
But as long as you have the watch on, it's always monitoring your heart rate, right? That's kind of what I was getting at. I probably worded it awkwardly, is maybe it's still always monitoring your heart rate when it's on, and while it was on her... When it was on her, it was still on her, and it went to 0, and her body heat was enough to keep it trying to determine her heart rate, and then it was 0. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, well, right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that is something that happened. Did she have a Fitbit on all the time?
Yeah, she did. And I saw it that weekend that we were there, and, I just remember, like, looking at it and thinking, oh, that's really cool. I like the band that she had on, Just thinking to myself about it. I remember seeing it.
But the way that she got that Fitbit, Bill got it for her because Bill told her that she repulsed him, that she had gained a bunch of weight, and he wanted her to lose weight. And so he got her a Fitbit.
Wow. He actually said that word? Like, you repulsed?
Yes, and that's why, yes, she did. And then she lost a lot of weight, and then when they came out to Kansas, right before, that's.
I remember the other case. It's Morrissey. The Morrissey case. I just remembered.
I had to look it up. Bill thinks you hate him. We're in a good place now. Because I told her, I said, I want you to lose this weight for you, not for him or anybody else. And she's like, oh, I know. And then when I seen her when she came out, I was like, holy crap, she lost a lot of weight. And she's like, just please don't say anything to Bill. And I wouldn't, because I know that she would get the repercussion if I did. So
was he physically abusive to her, or more mental?
He has been physically, where, like I said, he's left bruises on her arms, but a lot more mental, for sure.
But he was abusive to his ex, too, the mom of the twins. So, he beat her up and put her in the hospital.
Wow.
Because that's the one thing when, so it's one of my points that I wrote down, it said on, when he talked to Mike Campbell on February 19th of 2019, I'm going to quote it. He says, I never in my entire life hurt anyone. But then he didn't mention about...
That's a different case. Never mind.
His ex in the hospital. No.
Yeah, I heard that. That was the guy that was in the car talking to him. The interview.
Right.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Gray, Tina has been friends with Cheryl since high school, middle school.
15. Yeah.
Wow.
Forever.
And then my basically husband, we just never got married. We've been together since we were 15 too. He's known Cheryl since grade school.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Anyways, it was the right case that I was talking about. I just was looking at something different. This isn't part of it right here. Yeah, it's up here. Okay, yeah. So this is just a really quick side thing here. This lady was sitting at home in her house right here. Her husband comes home from a movie with some other person, and then her car, in this short amount of time, goes over here at, like, I can't remember what time it was in the morning, and parks right here. And then the next day, her body's found floating in the river right here, with wearing a Fitbit. Okay, and then, so the thing is, when she was thrown into the water, they thought, oh, maybe she just committed suicide off this bridge right here, right? But look at this. Well, how's a body going to get through that right there, then through, well, let's see, what time of year? Yeah, right here, look at that. A body isn't going to be able to drift through this. Well, Gray, if the water was higher. Well, it wasn't, okay. So anyways, you're coming around the corner here, another spot just like it. 5 different places where a body couldn't travel. Then, amazingly, and another one even, right there, right? And then
Okay, and then more there. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Look at this, the rocks here. Then right down here, her body floats up to the top here. Guess what, everybody? Guess where the husband's girlfriend lived at the time? Right there. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, that's another crazy case. No arrests have been made.
Must be really hard on you guys. I mean, it's
It's
just...
horribly.
Yeah, what it is.
Susan Ledyard is
very
her name.
angry, and it's hard knowing that he's walking around,
Yeah,
and him and Aaron just enjoy their life, and like Cheryl never existed or mattered.
I think it's that's the part that's a nightmare. It's like he's just out there. He thinks he's so clever.
And now then they got married
he's
too,
just
by the way.
enjoying life. Hopefully, he's always stressed out though, wondering when that knock at
That's
the door.
what we're hoping.
Yeah.
I hope
want to
so.
ask him so bad, how does it feel knowing that you're being watched? Because, I mean, his picture's on the news. I mean, nobody can forget that ugly mug of him or of his because, I mean, my God, he's butt-ass
He's hideous.
ugly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you recognize him.
Yeah.
But that's what pisses me off. Said that shit about Cheryl, saying, she repulsed him. He was fucking hideous from day one. And she's fucking gorgeous. Like, I mean, and he pounced on her when he first met her. I remember, because he knew he'd never get somebody as pretty as her, and he got fat too.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. Let it
Oh, we
go.
got Tina started.
Let it go. Let it go. Come on. Get it all out.
Yeah, we got Tina started. Go on, Tina.
Yeah.
But
Like I said, when it comes to Aaron, we just feel like how can she not be involved? I mean, what mother?
Oh, by the way, okay, let me just randomly, that last case I was just telling you about, the Susan Ledyard one? The guy, he got married to the girlfriend, like not even that long after. And listen to this. It was, he actually got put in prison for a brutal attack on his new wife. I mean, Jesus. And now, come on, they should definitely be arresting that guy.
In their right mind, would date a married man for a couple months, and then all of a sudden his wife goes missing the day after you guys come back from vacation?
And you don't think there's something up with that? Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why, we feel like she has to know something, or she has to be involved as well.
I think she's involved.
I do not believe that she knew that Aaron went on that trip because that Saturday of the wedding, her and I were talking, and she said that she had just got off the phone with her youngest daughter and was telling me how her youngest daughter was missing her, wishing she was there. And I'm like, I said, who all went on this trip? And she said, just her and Bill. And I'm like, well, God, no wonder she's bored to tears, So I do believe that if she knew Aaron had gone, Cheryl would have told me. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't find out after we had that conversation because that was on a Saturday and they came back on Monday.
So the daughter didn't know that Aaron was there?
I don't know the answer.
Oh, well,
I don't. Well, I don't know how to answer that.
Okay.
I mean, but I know September 9th of 2018, Cheryl called me and said, well, we're going to tell Michaela, the youngest one, tonight about us getting divorced. And I said, are you sure you want to do it? Because it was a Sunday. And I said, because, she's got all week of school. And she goes, I know. She goes, well, she's got the whole school year. And the three of us were supposed to go to Florida. And it was for her because of some kind of Harry Potter experience thing. And this was her trip. And she said, I don't want her to see her parents fighting all the time when this trip was for her. And Bill rides the rides with her all the time because Cheryl couldn't because she had like a neck and back issue to where she couldn't ride the rides. And so she's like, I just want her to have a great time. So I just think it's better off if I don't go. That way Bill and I are not arguing. And I said, okay. And she's like, but I know that he's going to make me look like the bad guy in all of this. And I said, well, if he does, then you bring up Aaron. And she said, I don't want to. I want it to have like a civil conversation.
Just continuing to keep Cheryl out there. That it does mean a lot. And I know that I've wanted to talk to you for a while, but it's just been hard and not knowing really what to say or or what to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And how are, and you are, I can't remember.
I'm Cheryl's sister-in-law. I'm
Sister-in-law,
her
that's what I thought. Okay.
brother's wife.
Okay, and it looks like the other two are on here right now.
Hello.
Shelley,
Yeah, I'm on.
Is this like a second call, or what the hell is this? Sounds exactly like how it started. Let me see if this is the same. I don't know what's going on.
Shelley and Tina, best friends?
Yes, yes.
Didn't we just play that at the beginning? This is 35
right.
minutes in.
Well, I guess, I mean, I've been covering it since the beginning, so we were always looking at all the different, the timelines and everything, and I think everybody's pretty squared away with all of that. I mean, it seems really obvious.
Yeah, it's weird because this is actually like 30 minutes in. But there's a lot more left.
The car left.
Let me see what happens.
The property at maybe.
Let me fast forward a little bit.
Mike, Cheryl said I wouldn't have had to ask once.
Okay, that was in there.
And she was a crash technician, so I'm sure that it had GPS.
Okay, we did that.
You hate him. We're in a good place now. Because I told her, I said, I want you to lose this weight for you, not for him or anybody else. And she's like, oh, I know. And then when I seen her, when she came out, I was like, holy crap, she lost a lot of weight. And she's like, just please don't say anything to Bill. And I wouldn't, because I know that she would get the repercussions.
Have you heard this part yet, you guys?
If I did.
Oh.
So
was he physically abusive to her, or more mental?
I remember that part.
If Aaron had gone, Cheryl would have told me. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't find out after we had that conversation, because that was on a Saturday, and they came back on Monday.
So the daughter didn't know that Aaron was there?
I don't know the answer.
Oh, well,
I don't. Well, I don't know how to answer that.
Okay.
I mean, but I know September 9th of 2018.
How about this part?
Cheryl called me and said, well, we're going to tell Michaela, the youngest one, tonight about us getting divorced. And I said, are you sure you want to do it? Because it was a Sunday. And I said, because, she's got all week of school. And she goes, I know. She goes, well, she's got the whole school year. And the three of us were supposed to go to Florida, and it was for her because of some kind of Harry Potter experience thing. And this is her trip.
Have you heard this
part
yet?
And she said, I don't want her to see her parents fighting all the time when this trip was for her. And Bill rides the rides with her all the time, because Cheryl couldn't, because she had like a neck and back issues where she couldn't ride the rides. And so she's like, I just want her to have...
So let me go back to about here.
But the way that she got that Fitbit, Bill got it for her.
Okay,
because
we're about
Bill told her that she repulsed him, that she had gained a bunch of weight, and he wanted her to lose weight. And so he got her a Fitbit.
Wow. He actually said that word? Like, you repulsed?
Yes, and that's why, yes, she did. And then, I mean, she lost a lot of weight. And then when they came out to Kansas, right.
By the way, you guys, we have, if you want to get one of the, this is my ad for my notebooks, but if you want to have one of the notebooks, if you send 25 to PayPal, if you live in the UK or foreign country, you have to send in 30. And even then, it's like, 35 is where there'd be a profit on it. The shipping, I've never seen anything crazier. Some of the countries in UK are $27. But in the United States, it's like $4 or $5. So if you're in the United States, send 25 to my PayPal, and you get the blue notebook, the one that you saw earlier on Zozo's dog picture, and then a blue pen and a stress ball that looks like a heart that says "freak" on the front of it. And you can pretend it's my face and just crush it. That's all you gotta. It's good for that.
Before, that's a thing that she said. Bill thinks you hate him. We're in a good place now. Because I told her, I said, I want you to lose this weight for you, not for him or anybody else. And she's like, oh, I know. And then when I seen her, when she came out, I was like, holy crap, she lost a lot of weight. And she's like, just please don't say anything to Bill. And I wouldn't, because I know that she would get the repercussion if I did.
Oh.
So
was he physically abusive to her, or more mental?
The thing is this channel has solved cases, you idiot. And we've actually paid for the solving of like 4 so far. Okay, idiot? Thank you. Hey, thanks, Ash Runs Wild. And also many other cases. Just doing the shows. You know, it's not all the time. It's pretty rare, but it does happen. Thanks, Ash Runs Wild.
He has been physically where, like I said, he's left bruises on her arms, but a lot more mental.
And you mods are kind of slow tonight.
But he was abusive to his ex, too, the mom of his twins. So, I mean, he beat her up and put her in the hospital.
Wow.
Because that's the one thing when, so it's one of my points that I wrote down, you know, it said on, when he talked to Mike Campbell on February 19th of 2019, I'm going to quote it. He says, "I never in my entire life hurt anyone." But then he didn't mention about putting his ex in the hospital. No.
Yeah, I heard that. That was the guy that was in the car talking to him. The interview.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just so you know, Greg, Tina has been friends with Cheryl since high
15?
school, middle school.
15, yeah.
Wow.
Forever.
And then my basically husband, we just never got married. We've been together since we were 15 too. He's known Cheryl since grade school.
Yeah. Must be really hard on you guys. I mean, it's just...
It's horribly hard.
Yeah, it is. We're very angry, and it's hard knowing that he's walking around, and him and Aaron just enjoy their life, and like Cheryl never existed or mattered.
I think it's that's the part that's a nightmare. It's like he's just out there. He thinks he's so clever, you know, and he's just enjoying life. Hopefully, he's always stressed out though, wondering when that knock at the door.
That's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
I want to ask him so bad, how does it feel knowing that you're being watched? Because, I mean, his picture's on the news. I mean, nobody can forget that ugly mug of him or of his because, I mean, my God, he's butt-ass ugly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you recognize him.
Yeah.
But that's what pisses me off, that shit about Cheryl, you know, saying, you know, she repulsed him. He was fucking hideous from day one. She's fucking gorgeous. You know, like, I mean, he pounced on her when he first met her. I remember, you know, because he knew he'd never get somebody as pretty as her, you know, and he got fat too.
Yeah,
You know?
like I said, we already did this part. All right, let it
Oh,
go.
we got Tina started.
Let it go. Come on, get it all out.
Yeah, we got Tina started. Go on, Tina.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, when it comes to Aaron, how can she not be involved?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, Melissa Pesky, Coker, Ledyard. I mean, they are almost all identical. It's weird that the police don't seem to get that, you know.
Mother, in their right mind, would date a married man for a couple months, and then all of a sudden his wife goes missing the day after you guys come back from vacation.
Mm-hmm. And you don't think there's something up with that? Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why, you know, we feel like she has to know something, or she has to be involved as well.
I think she was part of the planning.
I think she's involved.
I do.
I think she planned it. Like early on, if she was telling him, "Hey, I want to just be you and me," then they go on this trip together, and right when they come back, Cheryl goes missing and is killed that same day, and then there's those weird text messages to her phone that she has these alternate. I mean, she's the one that just has to say this is what we were doing and pretend she's texting back and whatever, you know, however it works. Or I guess she said she didn't really respond or something.
I do not believe that she knew that Aaron went on that trip, because that Saturday of the wedding, her and I were talking, and she said that she had just got off the phone with her youngest daughter and was telling me how her youngest daughter was missing her, wishing she was there. And I'm like, oh, I said, you know, who all went on this trip? And she said, oh, just her and Bill. And I'm like, well, God, no wonder she's bored to tears, you know. So I do believe that if she knew Aaron had gone, Cheryl would have told me. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't find out after we had that conversation, because that was on a Saturday, and they came back on Monday.
So the daughter didn't know that Aaron was there?
I don't know the answer.
Oh, well,
I don't. Well, I don't know how to answer that.
Okay.
I mean, but I know September 9th of 2018, Cheryl called me and said, well, we're going to tell Michaela, the youngest one, tonight about us getting divorced. And I said, are you sure you want to do it? Because it was a Sunday. And I said, because, you know, she's got all week of school. And she goes, I know. She goes, well, she's got the whole school year. And the three of us were supposed to go to Florida, and it was for her because it was some kind of Harry Potter experience thing. And this was her trip. And she said, I don't want her to see her parents fighting all the time when this trip was for her. And Bill rides the rides with her all the time because Cheryl couldn't, because she had like a neck and back issue to where she couldn't ride the rides. And so she's like, I just want her to have a great time, so I just think it's better off if I don't go. That way Bill and I are not arguing. And I said, okay. And she's like, but I know that he's going to make me look like the bad guy in all of this. And I said, well, if he does, then you bring up Aaron. And she said, I don't want to. I want it to have like a civil conversation. Just let her know, hey, your dad and I are not getting along anymore, and we love you, and just feel like we need to go our separate ways. So I said, well, good luck. Let me know, because Bill and their daughter were at the movies. She's like, well, they're almost home. I'll call you later. She calls me back. I said, how did it go? She said, well, he made me look like a bad guy. She said, we sat down, and the first words out of his mouth was, well, your mom's seeing other guys, and she wants a divorce. So she said, I had to bring up Aaron. And that's how that all went down. So, like I said, it was supposed to have been just Bill and their youngest daughter on that trip.
But do you think that, but see, a minute ago you said that when Cheryl called the daughter said that it was just her and Bill there, unless I didn't hear that right.
Well, no.
No, it was supposed to have been.
I asked Cheryl. It was just supposed to have been Cheryl, Bill, and the daughter. I asked Cheryl who all went, and Cheryl said,
Cheryl said that. Okay.
Bill and her daughter. That's why I don't think she knew that Aaron was on that trip.
But you said that Cheryl talked to the daughter while on the trip, though, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I wonder if she was told not to mention that, or maybe the other lady went, but they didn't all go together. Aaron, I mean.
They all went together.
They all went, like, flew in the plane together and everything? Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure he changed Cheryl's plane ticket to her name.
Well, and the whole trip there was drama with the booking of the trip. That was what had happened. We had our niece's wedding in July. He had this opportunity to get like these VIP Harry Potter tickets from his work. So he had asked Cheryl a couple times, when's the wedding? And she had given him the wrong date. So he went ahead and booked this non-refundable trip for the three of them. And then it comes to find out she gave them the wrong date for the wedding. So he had already paid for this trip. And there were some issues there. But my husband happened to have been home in Ohio at the time visiting. And he had gone over there and talked to Cheryl. And she was very upset because she did that. And, she was very hurt because it was the same time as her goddaughter's wedding. And so my husband and her other brother talked to her and they're like, look, you just need to talk to your, the niece and just let her know, you need to stand by your husband because this was your fault completely, getting the dates wrong. And he paid for this non-refundable thing. And what gets me is that was in July. That was July the 4th. They even had a family get together while he was home, and they had them a lot at Cheryl's house. Most of the family get-togethers were her home, but but then she ended up not going on the trip, and then she stayed for the wedding, and that's why the daughter wasn't there for the wedding either, was because of that trip, So then she made the decision because they were getting a divorce not to go on that trip, and it was a trip to Orlando for, like I said, for that Harry Potter VIP experience. So she had made just the decision not to go because they were getting the divorce. And she thought, it was my understanding, she thought it was only him and the daughter going. But then the girlfriend ended up going.
Right, and then as soon as he gets back, didn't he actually get back that morning? Like
around 11. No, they got back at 11 something on the night before.
So the night before. And then he claims he slept somewhere else in the house, which he
downstairs.
Yeah, which he could have, because now he's just really totally into the other. But I mean, that's sort of irrelevant, though.
But he was doing that before, like months before.
Mm-hmm. But he's trying to make it seem like. But he's just trying to say it to make it seem like, wow, I was just so oblivious to everything. I was down in the basement. I just slept all the way through. I mean, he doesn't seem like a guy that sleeps into 11, right? Like.
No,
Right.
or 9.
Yeah, and then there's times where Cheryl thought that Bill was going to stay at Aaron's house, and so she slept in the bed. But then when Bill got home, he would come home and wake her up, and she would get up and she would go sleep on the couch.
Yeah, what a monster.
So,
Right.
and
I
she
mean,
had
so
told
even
me-
when she was, oh, sorry.
That's okay. She had also told me she was sleeping on the couch, and she had told me that there were, times that she thought he wasn't coming home, and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm home now," and she'd get up and go get on the couch. And I'm like, gosh, that can't be comfortable, especially with your neck. You can't sleep like that. So I don't think they had. It had been a year, maybe a year and a half since I'd been to their house because we had moved to Florida. But I don't think they had like a couch that made out to a bed. I think with the TV area they had set up, they had that theater style seating in it, and then he had his like big gym. It was the basement. Then he had all of his gym equipment in there, and it was just jam packed with gym equipment.
Was he a martial arts guy, like some people say, or?
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He
I
taught
always heard
it.
he black belt.
What was that?
What?
He was a black belt, from my understanding.
Yeah, he was. I think it was like Taekwondo or something. Yeah, he even taught it.
Yeah,
for some years too.
Yeah.
Maybe I wonder if he used some of that technique in the way he killed her.
Well, we always wondered like if he choked her.
Allegedly. Okay,
Because-
we got to throw that out there.
Yeah, allegedly, because there was, if they didn't find any blood or anything, that's.
Have they checked the entire backyard area, like like underneath everything, the pool and I know it's hard. I'm just saying, there's a lot of stuff in the backyard there.
It's my understanding that has been thoroughly checked.
Okay.
And I would think that if there was a disturbance, the only thing that I'm concerned about is that swing set area they have all that rubber mulch. So I don't know, we go through all these different scenarios in our mind all the time, like what could have happened, where could she be? And, that's why I just feel like
she wasn't there.
someone had to have helped him.
Well, they must have surveillance. They must have something somewhere where his vehicle, he went to the lunch, but did his car come back at a reasonable time after lunch? Does anybody have that?
I know he picked up. I don't know. I just know he picked up their daughter from physical therapy that day.
What time would that have been?
Later on, after she got out of school.
That's the older daughter?
The younger daughter.
Oh, the younger daughter? Okay. So what would that have been, like 3 o'clock-ish, something? 3:15?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because timelines are really big for what I do. I try to put everything together, and then you can sort of...
And it's my understanding that he went to lunch with Aaron that day.
Yeah, so that was pretty important right there. So, so it was around 3 o'clock. So if you think about it, that gives him like 4 hours to do something. So that means he likely left with her body during that time, or, knowing that nobody was going to be looking around the house that same day, he may have, when the daughter's asleep, drove Cheryl's body somewhere. You know what I mean? In the middle of the night. And then came home. But again, it seems like, unless he's got a vehicle that doesn't have GPS or anything like that, that somewhere along the line, a camera would have picked up something. But in the night, it's hard, right? A car on a highway on a camera isn't really going to pick up anything.
So, and maybe around noon. And then also, I think the scene outside working in the yard around 1:30, 2 o'clock p.m.
So he made
and
sure
I may
he was
be
seen.
off on those timelines.
It's like he's made sure he was clock-ish, something? 3:15?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because timelines are really big for what I do. I try to put everything together, and then you can sort of...
And it's my understanding that he went to lunch with Aaron that day. So, and maybe around noon. And then also, I think the scene outside working in the yard.
Went to lunch with Aaron. What else were they doing? When he left to go to lunch that day, when did he come back? Well, he got back in 2 hours. And you know what, you guys? He could have easily went with Aaron, I mean, well, let's see what time this is. So let's say lunch is around noon.
Around 1:30, 2 o'clock p.m.
So he made sure at 1:30 to 2 o'clock he's out in the yard doing yard work. All right. So we just said it takes an hour round trip to get out to where the body was found. An hour, let's say an hour and 10 minutes. Well, that's about what lunch would take, you guys. So you go out there and it's so quick. You probably need 2 people. You bring the body and place it in the woods over here. Then you get back in your car, you drive back. It looked like you just came home from lunch. Drop her off at work or whatever. Then you go home, you go outside and start doing yard work. How about that? I mean, have they looked at that their freaking lunch trip was actually the time? Because it's literally only an hour and 10 minutes round trip. What do you guys think of that? I don't see any comments related to anything that I'm saying. So what do you guys think of that?
Maybe on those timelines.
It's like he's made sure he was seen for a time,
right?
For a certain time. So you kind of wonder. He knew nobody was going to find. It's like talking to a brick wall, man. The car, or even come up, do any big time searching in his house for a day or so. So I wonder, like at night, is when he made his move, something like that.
Right, and that's what I'm wondering too. Is like, did he do something at night after the daughter went to bed?
Right, it could have been that. Yeah, because it's possible. And it seems, and maybe even I don't know if he had Erin. That'd be pretty crazy, but maybe she was even over there trying to make almost like to make sure the daughter didn't wake up or to have some kind of built-in excuse. Go ahead. So the times that it could have happened were between 7:45 and 10:40. Then he drives the car to the mall over there. Also could have happened between 11:30 and 3 o'clock. Or it happened in the middle of the night when the daughter went to sleep.
The cops came around midnight that night after Cheryl's sister had drove around looking for her and the oldest daughter. And
wow.
And then I believe the cops came to write out a missing person.
That same night, like literally.
Right, that same night. They actually had to wake him up out of bed. They had to wake him up. He was sleeping.
God, that's bizarre. Can you hear that again?
And
wow.
And then I believe the cops came to write out a missing person.
That same night, like literally.
Right, that same night. They actually had to wake him up out of bed. They had to wake him up. He was sleeping.
God, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
See, he's got a lot of time is accounted for, but he had windows,
Right.
So if that's true, then he probably did that. He didn't do it at night, if he was in bed sleeping when they came by.
Right.
So the car was found. I remember that her oldest daughter found the vehicle in the Kroger's, right?
Right.
Yeah, she was over at Clancy's asking people at Clancy's.
Right.
Because I was talking to her all that Wednesday, and because she had called me on that Facebook, and at the time I had AT&T. I live out in rural Kansas, and we don't have very good service, so I guess she tried to call me through Facebook. And I just remember waking up in the middle of the night, I missed a call from her, and I just remember thinking, well, hopefully everything was okay, or it was just some kind of fluke thing, because I had no idea how that worked.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next morning, I seen the messages, her asking me if I had talked to her mom. And so I called her that day, and she was at work. And then, I said, well, does she go to work? So her daughter called Cheryl's work and said that she hadn't been in on Tuesday or, that Wednesday. So then after Marissa got off work, she was going around the area, and she went around Clancy's and was asking people, and they hadn't seen her, and she used that Find My iPhone app.
Yeah, Find My iPhone, something like that.
Or maybe she could have already found her vehicle and went into Clancy's because when I talked to her, she was at Clancy's, and she said, well, I'm waiting on my aunt, and my aunt called a detective. So I'm sorry. So she went to Clancy's after she found the phone.
And do you remember what time that was? What time did she find out?
They found the car around 8:30 on the 3rd. Cheryl went missing the morning of the 2nd. They found the car 8:30 p.m. It was around 8:30 p.m.
Okay, that's what I was saying. So we had the whole night, that first night, the second. The police didn't come over to his house on the 2nd at midnight. It was the following night, right?
No. It was on the 2nd at night. Yeah.
Oh, even before they found it was a
was
missing person at that time.
Before they found
12 o'clock a.m. Wednesday morning.
Right. It was before they found her car.
So, I mean, I guess there could be a time where the daughter went to sleep at 9 and he took off. Say, hey, I mean, she's 15. He doesn't have to stay at home anyways. So he could have just said, hey, I'm going to head out for a while, and dumped her body, came home, and he's in bed by midnight sleeping.
I see.
They went out.
Interesting. So they just did sort of a welfare check, kind of came over, knocked on the door, and...
Yes. Asking, have you seen her? No, I don't know where she's at.
I'd like to see that body camera footage on that one.
Right.
See how
I know.
Yeah. Right.
Why do you guys think the police didn't release the image of the person all in black walking from the vehicle? That might have spurred some memory from people.
I know, and I think the reason they didn't, whether right or wrong, was because whether or not I agree with it, is what I mean to say, is because at that time he was cooperating with them. And, and I remember like her first week or within the first month of her being gone, I had made a post on Facebook and in one of the groups, and I did get a call from someone who kind of asked me to, if the family starts speaking out, maybe he'll probably stop cooperating. Right now he's cooperating with us. So I think they didn't release that because it's very clear that it's him, and I think they were hoping that he'd just come in and confess. I don't know. But that's the only thing I could think of. I think that at the time he was cooperating and they knew that video would be very incriminating. I don't know.
And it's bizarre because
Go
ahead.
I wish they would have because, I've heard that the school went on lockdown because, of this guy dressed in all black around the school. So, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and also it could have jogged somebody's memory. Oh, yeah, I saw that guy in black. I mean, it seems like the path is sort of obvious-ish. He went all the way out to Burkhart, the guy in black, I think, and then probably walked down Burkhart Road and then just cut in on maybe either Cawley or Granville, and then that sort of gets you into that.
Granville, yeah.
Utopia.
I mean, there's a bunch of different places he could have gone through the apartment complexes and all that, but I mean, then he comes walking down, and then a witness sees him on Monday and Utopia, and then they go around the block because they think he looks suspicious. Then they see him again at Christie Avenue and Spring Garden, and then that's right when that person's heading back, which is him. I mean, it's so obvious.
Yeah,
right. In Utopia, you can pretty much drive into their driveway.
Yeah.
Utopia and Christie, and you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Todd also said, this is my husband. He said that he had to wear a hoodie also because he's got such a distinctive look, right? Like if it was some random
Bald
person,
head.
Neighbors wouldn't know who that is. But Bill's got such a distinctive look. He had to wear a hoodie.
Yeah, bald head and just kind of a weird look.
Yeah,
droopy eyes.
All I can say is thank God, perhaps, that nobody said, "Hey, Bill, what's going on?" when he was trying to get back to the house. That would have ruined it for him. He might have killed that person to keep that from coming out. Definitely possible. Come on, do it again. Come on, get it out.
Oh my God! I know.
Go.
And go.
I know.
Really going.
Yeah.
But know that they both were total opposites. He's ugly, she's pretty, she's outgoing, he's a total introvert. And that's another reason why I personally feel like
that's the
Aaron
second
has to be involved because he's 100% introvert. He doesn't hang out with people. He doesn't really have any friends.
Nope.
It's weird how many there's so many cases that are so similar. Because just doing what I do, you get these ones that I'm always referencing. Oh, this is like the Coker case. It's just all the time.
Yeah, see, we're still doing
cold cases, new cases, just a husband that kills the wife so that they don't because they're getting a divorce, doesn't want to pay the child support, doesn't want to have to, and just wants to start fresh. So they kill their wife. I mean, what a stupid motive.
Right. And Bill was trying to get their daughter, try to tell Cheryl that the daughter was going to live.
Right. He didn't want to have to pay the support. That was a big part of it. I think that's a huge part of it. His motivation was Like if he could just
and the alimony.
Yeah, I think if it was just Cheryl said, I want a divorce. I don't want anything from you. You don't even have to pay child support. I'll take care. He would have went, oh wow, yeah, because I think that's his motive was. Yeah, I actually found that other case the other day. It was a body out here, and remember, I think it was like a pedophile that somebody killed. But yeah, I know where it was. It was in this folder. Hold on a second. I think I got rid of it. I had these 2 other documents in the Coker folder that were that other case, but it was like a pedophile that was killed by somebody. I doubt they spent a lot of time investigating it. And good for them. So that he was going to have to pay, some alimony, like you just said, and child support, and it was just going to. That's a huge issue too that shows up a lot.
Right. Well, and let me know.
Twins, right?
What was that?
Right. He did not pay child support for his 2 boys, his twin sons.
Huh. Well,
he never paid.
Was that a deal
he never
set
paid
up? Or?
child support. Well, it was a deal, and and we knew that he never paid child support. Cheryl and I had talked about it because I had gone through a divorce and I was getting child support, and I depended on that, to buy food, to pay, utilities and things like that, or things for my kids. I depended on that money. And so when she told me that he didn't pay child support, she's like, oh yeah, but we buy them everything they want. And I remember after this happened and I was telling someone, I was talking to someone about it, and then someone had said, hey, he did buy the boys everything that they needed or wanted. But then the person I was talking to was like, that may be, but that's a control issue. When you won't allow that person, when you won't do what you're supposed to do and give them that money and let them use it for the food or utilities or clothing, it's a control issue because you can come in and look like the good guy buying all these fun things, and it really hit me. It's like, oh gosh, that does make a lot of sense. It is a control issue when you're not giving the child support directly to the custodial parent. You're giving it to the kids for the.
Yeah, that's the. I think this is where that other body was found. Now that I look at it, it looked like this. I remember the images looked about like that were out there, and it was found right here, wrapped in plastic. And people thought maybe that was Cheryl Coker, but it wasn't. Remember?
The Xboxes or the North.
Yeah, you missed the beginning of the show, though. That's what we were saying. Is like yesterday, the case that was yesterday where they made an arrest has way less information than this one has. Except in that one, I guess they have his vehicle leaving and coming back. But in this one, I mean, I don't know.
Face jackets or things like that.
But that's
right.
You look like the cool person.
Right, but Bill is like that because he's a fucking narcissist. Because he, he blamed Cheryl 4 years into the marriage for him cheating. Okay, look at, I'm the great dad. I'm buying you this and that. Again, it's always, I'm the fucking perfect one.
Well, he wanted to be he wanted his money to be the hero purchases.
Yep.
Yes, right.
Wow, look what my dad got.
Yeah. Exactly, and I never thought of it that way until that person had mentioned it to me because I just accepted the fact, well, that's cool. They go out and buy the school clothes or the, everything that the kids need. But you're right, it's the hero money that we're using here. I'm, that way I'm a good person. Look at what I'm doing for you.
Right.
And I had a dad. I had a dad that didn't pay. He didn't pay child support ever, and my mom took him to court and stuff like that. But I've told this on my channel. For Christmas, and he would show up and he'd take us out to dinner and all these kind of things every once in a while, and we'd think, wow, he's so neato. And then my mom would actually, which is, that's why I was saying my mom's one of the best moms in the world, is for Christmas and stuff, she'd buy all these really cool gifts like the G.I. Joes and the Johnny Wests and say they were from him. And we would get the socks and the underwear and stuff from her. Right. And so our dad was the hero, again, because she wanted us to think that he cared about us. But she only told us this when we were adults.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, man. But, whenever he showed up, he did all the stuff like, oh, look at me, acting like he was just some great person, but never sent a nickel in for, 18 years.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
But I just wonder if she, the twins' mom was also scared of him and didn't want to go that route since he did beat her up and put her in the hospital, too. She might have been scared to push that.
Yeah.
And just agreed with him, like, okay,
and
you just pay for it.
Right, and his boys don't have his last name either.
Do you guys think that Cheryl was really believed that he was capable of anything like that?
I tell you, I don't. Honestly, when I think back of like that last conversation that we had, just the way that she looked at me when, I asked when she told me that he tried to run her off the road, and I'm like, do you feel safe? And I'm like, Cheryl, and she just kind of shrugged her shoulders and just like.
Yeah, that's where it ends for some reason. Anyways, that's it, you guys. That's the interview. Wish I could have heard the rest of that. But I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, gave you a way better perspective on this. It feels like if they just sat down and were talking to these sisters, that law enforcement would just have a better idea of like, okay, yeah. I mean, but they need evidence of things. Man, why don't they just give it a shot? This seems like one that if you had a jury, there's no way it would be not guilty. It would be a hung jury at the worst, so you'd have another chance at it down the line. Yeah, there's a ton of these cases like this. So anyways, that'll do it, everybody. Thank you. Sorry for the repeated information there. I'm not sure how that happened in the audio, but yeah, a lot of interesting information in there, don't you think? And for those of you who've never heard of this case, I'm sure you now know it pretty well. I'm not mean at all, KK. It's the weird comments, like the one you just made, that make me mean. Let's see.
That's chatty. Any chatters?
The heck? Yeah, like just out of nowhere. You hadn't commented the whole show, and you make that one comment, and then if I say something back, see, you're mean, Gray. Yeah. All right. Here we go with the credits. So we've been on there for 3 hours and 38 minutes. Thank you to Scoutin' Dude, Teresa Murray, and Caligal 3 with a cat eye, Gene Darcy, Cindy J, Scoutin' Dude with another cat eye, Music Maker, Your Gypsy, Kathy Chapin, K-Me, Caligal 3, then Cadillac with $100. Just stop by to donate, she said. Caligal 3, Shogun Love, Danielle, Lisa Valenzuela, Kathy Chapin, Ash Runs Wild. So not a ton of different people, but made the stream goal nevertheless. All right. Awesome. So thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate it. And I hope you learned stuff and realize how that case is pretty interesting with a lot of different things going on. It just seems like a tragedy that, I don't know what's going on there. It feels like a higher level or quality of investigators need to be put in there. Like maybe just hand it over to the FBI. Quit working, doing the, we're working in concert with. Let them figure it out. Okay, because you guys had your shot. This seems like a no-brainer where you should have been able to find something, and you just haven't been able to do it. I don't know why or any of those kinds of things. It just seems crazy. So, anyways, thank you very much for being here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow, and yeah, I'm sure we'll have another opportunity to revisit this. Maybe I'll reach back out to the family and see if they want to come on again or talk with everybody and give some updates. All right. So thanks, everybody. And we will see you. Let me see if this thing's working now. The credits. There it is. Does it work? The Trigger Bunny. There's everybody again. John Dew, Teresa Mary, Caligal 3, Gene Darcy, Cindy J, Music Maker, Your Gypsy, Kathy Chapin, Cat K Me, Cadillac, Shogun Love, Danielle, Lisa Valenzuela, Ash Runs Wild, subscriptions, Platicus, members, Dreaming Girl. Wait, is that Dreaming Girl? Like Dreaming Girl, like the original Dreaming Girl? Alright, anyways, thanks to everybody. We will see you tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda. I'm a bartender, and I'll serve it to you straight without that window. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you later. Alright. Who are you, Joe? Never heard of you before. Take a hike. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, and be safe out there.